Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. CBS Sports presents the San Francisco 49ers versus the New York Giants. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with Alex Hawkins. Boy, do they do things up around here in the big city. Your name in lights.
Gotham, the Big Apple.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, about this ball game. We got two hungry ball clubs, one victory in 8 games for both of them, and it was the Giants that picked it up against Washington. What are you looking for?
Well, the Giants have really got some problems. They've got some internal problems, I think, and there's some rumors Bob Tucker wants to be traded, and they won't throw to him, and the same old thing. Meanwhile, the 49ers have always been a mystery club. They're a better team than their record would indicate, and the Giants seem to think they're a good football team, and they just don't want them to break out on them today.
I guess you could say it would be the Sackers versus the Sackees, because last year, the Gold Rush, as they call the front four, and there's a good look at them with Hardman, Hart, Elam, and Webb, they had 61 sacks of the quarterback to lead the NFL, one more than Baltimore. Now they'll be going against a Giant ball club that has suffered 19 sacks in 4 games. However, the Gold Rush has been relatively quiet with only 9 sacks thus far. So Ray Wersching, who has spent 4 years with San Diego and was picked up Thursday by the 49ers. Tom Woodham was doing both punting and kicking. However, it was too much, and Woodham's punting became very erratic. So Wersching, 5-year veteran out of the University of California, 27 years old. This will be his first attempt, and it's a beauty. He's got to kick it 50 yards. It is good. What a way to break in.
You got it.
Welcome to the ball club, Ray Wersching with a 50-yard field goal. The Giants lead it down 3-0 to San Francisco. And so now Joe Dinello is 6 out of 6 in point after, 4 out of 5 in field goals, and it is good. He gets them even. So on a 4th and 4, Dinello kicks it through. And with 10 minutes and 7 seconds to go to halftime, 3-3. So very discouraging for the 49ers, and of course the Giants, before this big home crowd, hungry now. 1st and 10. They put the ball in play on the 49er 37-yard line. Robinson left, Moorhead right. Play action fake by Desartic. All alone down to Shirk, the big tight end. A second-year man out of Moorhead State plays all alone.
And he's one of 10 World Football League players on this team. Gary Shirk's not a great athlete at all, but he finds the open area there. Patterson Plank Road Joe puts it, drills it right on in there perfect. There's a missed coverage someplace. Watch Gary Shirk take it on in. Ralph McGill giving a heavy pursuit, but it's too little too late.
So the Giants capitalized on the fumble by Wilbur Jackson, caused by Mendenhall, recovered by Kelly. A 37-yard touchdown pass to Sarchik to Shirk. The point after by Dinello is good. And the Giants are in Fat City right now. 7 minutes and 37 seconds to go to the half. Giants 10, 49ers 3. Put it up, and he's throwing a bomb to Harrison out of bounds. Bryant right there with him, number 21.
Funny looking pass. You sure that wasn't Billy Kilmer?
He's an enigma. Against the Rams, he threw the ball as well as we've seen him throw it in several years, and then he's had troubles with bruised ribs, and I guess it's affecting him again.
Yes, sir. They gave up an awful lot of draft choices for that man.
Jim Plunkett, Rookie of the Year, 1971, struggling for the moment. Hammond, solo safety, just inside midfield. Tom Whittam will have to kick it out for the 49ers. Whittam has had 5 punts blocked in 4 games.
Great.
A lot of pressure on number 52, Skip Vanderbunt. The people have been knocking on his door.
You can go a lifetime and not have 5 punts blocked.
There's another one.
Look out here.
It is blocked by number 31, Ernie Jones, a 2-year man out of Miami. 6 punts in 5 games.
Yeah, I don't believe he took too awful long. It might be a little slow.
Look at that dive.
Number 31 coming in there, perfect position. The angle was just right. Let's take a look at it again. Ernie Jones. Yeah, he bobbled that snap just a little bit from that angle. but Ernie Jones took the right approach angle on it.
So Tom Whittem is blocked again, and it's 1st and goal for the Giants. The ball is on the 49er 2-yard line. Zonka in front of Willie Spencer. Spencer following Zonka. Apparently just shy. So it'll be 2nd and goal, and the ball is inside the 1. Anthony Leonard, last man to get up. He was underneath the stack. Willie Spencer did not go to college, played in the Canadian Football League, the World Football League, but he did go to a great high school for football, Massillon, Ohio.
Oh, buddy, that's almost a college right there.
2nd and goal from inside the 1. Spencer again behind Zonka. And it's Spencer behind Zonka. Touchdown!
Well, sir. Point of attack blocking was just awfully good there. Number 74, John Hicks. Zonka clearing the way there. Spencer going right over the top. Let's look at it from a different angle. There's Zonka, the lead blocker. He gets it done. Not a classic block, but he just kind of, well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Sure,
got in his way.
It's intergalactic.
That's right.
So it is 16-3 Giants, and Dinello boots it through. And they're singing in New York, at least for the moment. The Giants 17 and the 49ers 3 with 4:31 to go to the half. A reminder coming up at halftime, the NFL Today with Brent Musburger and Irv Cross. We have 2 minutes left to go to the half. The Giants are leading the 49ers 17-3, and the riddle of the 49ers continues.
Well, you know, this isn't something that just came up yesterday. For the last 15 to 20 years, I've been watching the 49ers and wondering, it seemed like they put the necessary ingredients together to be a winning team, but something always comes up.
Well, we'll see what comes up now in Plunkett's bag of tricks. He had been to the sideline. He's going deep downfield to Gene Washington, intercepted by Brian Kelly. And Kelly is at the 30, to the 35, and will be tackled at the 40-yard line by Wilbur Jackson.
Gracious me, the pass was so poorly thrown. I can't believe the depth that Brian Kelly got. He must have been 30 yards downfield, a linebacker getting that much depth.
Wouldn't you know, the first pass to Gene Washington is an interception.
And look at this. Washington does have room to make the reception there, but the pass is underthrown. Look how deep he is. Now, that's 30 yards. Gracious, what kind of coverage do you have when Brian Kelly can get that deep? Somebody hurry and tackle me. I'm tired of running.
That's just what I had the same thought. Where is somebody? Anybody?
Okay, the Monday night game, Pittsburgh hosts Cincinnati, and a lot of question about Terry Bradshaw. Against Houston last Sunday, in the Oilers' upset, Bradshaw broke his left wrist. He is wearing a half-hard cast. We checked with Pittsburgh coach Chuck Noll this morning, and here is the exact status. He has been practicing with the Steelers. Chuck thinks that he will be able to play against Cincinnati. The problem is not one of throwing the ball or anything like that. It's taking the snap from the center. There is constant pain. The Steelers experimented with having the center slow up the snap, but that threw off the timing of the offense. So if Bradshaw starts, he will go as far and as long as he can against Cincinnati. And Irv, meanwhile, Ed Garvey called you.
That's right. He called me on another pain, Ken Payne, a wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, who was suspended, and there was a lot of controversy and discussion about it. Apparently what happened is simply this. The Green Bay Packers agreed to settle with the Players Association and reimburse Kenny Payne his $1,000, which he was fined when he was suspended from the ball club, and they also agreed to pay him for today's game, even though he's not playing. And they put him on no recall waivers, and he'll become a free agent in just a few hours.
All right, Irv, let's check in on Jimmy the Greek's favorite football team this year, the Atlanta Falcons. How they doing against the Buffalo Bills? Scoreless in the second quarter. The Greeks got to get that offense going. Green Bay and Detroit right now in the second quarter. Each team has kicked a field goal. The Packers were on the board first. It is now tied 3-3. St. Louis leads Philadelphia by a score of 14-3 in that game. The Eagles had kicked the field goal. The Cardinal offense looks good. And yes, Jim Hart is playing quarterback for the Cardinals. San Francisco and the New York Giants. San Francisco is totally inept in all phases of the game today. You've been watching the Giants. They lead at the half 17-3. Now it is Baltimore and Kansas City. 14-6. The score there was John Brockington's touchdown for the Chiefs. He just got in. They missed the extra point. It is 14-6 in the second quarter. Now, Chicago and Minnesota are just underway. They are scoreless. That game is in the first quarter, and of course the score there is reflected in the fact that Bob Avellini has done such a good job for the Bears coming off that Monday night upset, so they are scoreless just underway. Now, Dottie Pastorini is not at quarterback today. Doesn't make any difference. They just got a touchdown and an extra point. They lead it by a score of 7-0. Let's turn our attention now towards some highlights. Check around the league, get you up to date on all the big plays. Let's start now with Green Bay and Detroit. That'll be our first package of highlights here. Now, King for the Lions fumbles. Dave Purifoy recovers for Green Bay, and the Packers kicked a field goal that put them ahead by a score of 3-0, and of course, as I told you, 3-3. Irv, what's next?
All right, I have the Philadelphia Eagles and St. Louis Cardinals. They're still going in the second quarter, late in the second quarter, Brent, but the Cardinals lead by a score of 14-3 down at Veterans Stadium. And right here in the second quarter, 2nd and 8 on the Philadelphia 38-yard line. Hart faces the ladder and throws the ball out. The screen pass from number 84, Ike Harris, who rambles along the sideline all the way for a touchdown. St. Louis took a 7-3 lead. The Cardinals came back again in the second quarter, this time handing the ball off to Terry Metcalf. Goes in, and the Cardinals are leading late in the half, 14-3.
Irv, I have to think a little bit about Monty Clark as I take a look at this next set of highlights. The San Francisco 49ers and the New York Giants. Would you believe how inept San Francisco has been all season? I'm not trying to take anything away from the Giants, but what has happened to the Niners? Brian Kelly with a recovery. Pisarcik, touchdown pass now to Shirk. So long, Bob Tucker, huh? 10-3 after the field goal by the Giants. Now look at this. The Niners can't even get off a punt. Here comes Jones. 2 plays later, Spencer will dive over the top for the touchdown. 17-3 after the extra point. Now Plunkett wants to throw the ball to Gene Washington. Hey, Kelly's having a great day. Got back on this, and it is 17-3 at the half, and with Joe Thomas in charge of the San Francisco 49ers, you got to wonder what might happen to that franchise in the days ahead. Boy, what turmoil surrounding the 49ers. The NFL Today will continue on CBS right after these messages from your local stations.
Halftime in New Jersey, and the Giants are leading San Francisco 17-3. Alex, I don't know if I told you this or not. When I was leaving Los Angeles on Friday, I bought a San Francisco paper to read, maybe to get a little insight into the 49ers. In the game story, the writer was talking about this upcoming game, and he said the 49ers against the rotten team they're playing this weekend. I'd never seen that in public print before, this rotten team.
It's a little bit severe and a little tacky, but, you know, it pretty well describes that they have played just poorly.
And now, this rotten team is the way that writer felt the New York Giants were, and he's sitting upstairs wondering about how to rephrase it because the rotten team is leading the 49ers 17-3.
Well, a case in point is that the 49ers are not making the big plays. In fact, they're giving every opportunity for the Giants, who are taking that opportunity. They make block punts and long score by Shirk, and they're making the plays. They look good today.
There might be one other thing of interest to all of us, and particularly to the folks at home. The second half could be a dandy because Plunkett, when he has to come out throwing, might very well turn this place into a carnival.
And he has got to go to Gene Washington if he's going to get himself back in the ball game.
It was ironic. He went to him once, and it was for an interception to a linebacker. And what was Kelly doing back there?
Well, apparently they didn't use the right flare control, or Plunkett didn't key, because a linebacker can't drop that far back on you, and you can't allow him to do it. You've got to send your back out there and go ahead and take the 10 or 15 yards from the back rather than let him get that much depth.
And one last note on that block punt, it was the 3rd consecutive game that the 49ers have had a punt block. They've now had 6 in 5 games. Plunkett on a quick out to Jim Lash, and he fumbles. And the Giants recover.
Oh, that is a
Brad Van Pelt made the recovery.
That is a good sign for the New York Giants. That what is now That's their 10th fumble recovery of the season. That is number 1 in the NFL.
Tampa Bay had 8.
Yes, surprisingly, that's true.
And he ran away from the first down, did Jim Lash?
Yes, he did. The ball just shook loose. It is not a day for the 49ers.
Boy, drive carefully going home, guys. It's 17-3 Giants. 4:56 to go in the third quarter. The Giants take over at midfield. Agony on the face of Jim Plunkett.
So what can I do? What more can I do? 49ers get it in the end zone. We could have a ball game yet. There's still 10 minutes and 30 seconds or so on that clock.
17 points different. Giants 20, 49ers 3. Jackson. And he's in for the score. Wilbur Jackson, who had only 1 touchdown rushing in 44 NFL games, punches it over.
Running up the back of Keith Fonhorst, number 71. Let's take a look at it and see what he does. Oh, completely destroys Jeter that time. Enough of a hole to get in there. Wilbur Jackson.
Well, it's 20-9, 10 minutes and 15 seconds. We take another look.
Yeah, Jeter just buried himself. Fonhorst just laid his body on top of him, creating a big gap there. Plenty of room.
Now Ray Wersching, who earlier kicked a 50-yard field goal, gets it up, and it's good. So he has joined the club indeed. We have 10 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in the ball game. The Giants 20 and San Francisco trying to come back with 10. The ball on the 47-yard line of New York. Gene Washington wide right. Jim Lash wide left. Farrell and Hofer, the running back. Play action fake. And Plunkett going deep to Washington. Touchdown! Oh, what a play!
Now, there you are. That's the Gene Washington I know. He adjusts on the football about as well as any man had ever put on shoulder pads.
47-yard touchdown pass. Plunkett to Washington.
Oh, I love to see it. Gene Washington, what a receiver he is. Certainly one of the tops in football today and maybe all time. Look at the adjustment on the ball. Look at the adjustment on this ball.
Bill Bryant on top of him.
Bill Bryant right on top of him, but look at how he holds on and controls it, and in addition to that, drags himself right on into the end zone. The mark of a champion.
A magnificent reception by Gene Washington. And hey now, the 49ers are in the ball game. With 5 minutes left to go, it's 20-16, and Wersching gets it up and good. And so all of a sudden, Ray Wersching, Gene Washington, Jim Plunkett, and the 49ers are very much in the thick of things. With 5 minutes and 1 second left to go in the ball game, Giants 20, 49ers 17 on this 47-yard bomb.
As you saw, the protection was there. He had plenty of time, and Jim Plunkett again mystifies you because he puts the ball right there. But the total concentration of Gene Washington here. Holding on to that ball. Bryant doing everything in the world to try to get away from him and making it into the end zone. Oh, I love it.
Gregory had him, and down he goes.
Boy, that's the lift you look for a veteran like that who had some great years. You got, of course, Gregory. Everybody knows they got him in from Cleveland a few years back, and he's had the year he got here 21 sacks or something like that. But that's what you look for, is leadership from your old dudes.
Gregory almost jerked the shirt off Plunkett. In fact, you can see he did. There's the shoulder pad sticking out. And as Gregory was choking him with one hand, Troy Archer then came up to bury him. And so that was a tough lick. The ball is back on the 30. Now, just to show you the change of fortunes, Plunkett had completed a pass to Paul Seal to the 40-yard line of the Giants. And there was a holding on that, now a sack, and they've gone from the Giant 40 to the San Francisco 30. That's losing yardage in a hurry.
A difference of a couple downs and 30 yards.
Okay, come up with a 2nd and 30 for me, with 1 minute and 19 to go.
That's when the coach usually leaves and goes up to the booth.
There is Jim Plunkett. And Plunkett can just sit and wait as time runs out. Joe Pisarcik is a rookie out of New Mexico State. He is 6'3", 220, 25, and he has piloted the Giants to a 20-17 victory over the San Francisco 49ers. And for San Francisco, down they go, their worst year since 1963. They lose 20-17.
2 minutes and 7 seconds left in Buffalo. Atlanta trailing by a field goal. Let's check the scoreboard right now. The story there is that the Falcons just missed on a 4th and 1 and turned the ball over inside their 6-yard line. Elsewhere around the league this afternoon, Detroit under pressure as the Packers score for the first time in the second half all year. St. Louis behind Jimmy Hart, leading Philadelphia 21-10. Eagles playing strongly in the fourth quarter. And, of course, the game you just watched, San Francisco rallied, but they gave away too much in the first half, but give them credit for not quitting this afternoon. Baltimore, 17, Kansas City, 6. Another final score just in. And Chicago and Minnesota. They have just started the third quarter, 13-6. Avellini threw a touchdown pass to Rather, and then they missed the extra point. The Cleveland Browns spotted Houston 10 points. The Oilers playing without Dowdy Pastorini, and John Hadel came in. Then they went back to Pastorini, and look at what has happened. They are now behind the Browns by 1 point, second quarter, 21-20. Now, many of you have heard the story, and some of you haven't. Time magazine tomorrow is going to break a report that Reggie Jackson insists he will not return to the New York Yankees next year under any circumstances if Billy Martin remains a manager. So I've got Pete Rose back in here because I find this story so hard to believe. Here is a team 1 victory away from winning a world championship, and you've got a ball player dictating to management what he wants to do, Pete.
Well, I'm sure right now that's the utmost thing on both of their minds is winning the 4th game of the World Series, which gives them the World Championship, and they probably don't care what's going to happen next year, and I don't believe the story myself.
Yeah, because it would be so
they were
hard.
Hugging each other yesterday and very happy with the outcome of yesterday's game and looking forward to today's game, and I just don't think that the story means anything.
Pete, I'm going to bring in the voice of the Los Angeles Dodgers, who called the broadcast out there today between the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. Vin Scully now is on our remote, and Vin, I'd like to ask you, what do you think the problems are that the Dodgers have been facing in this series, not playing like they did all year?
Well, I guess really Pete could answer it a lot better than I could. It happens during the course of any year. A ball club has a couple of days where they're flat, they just don't seem to do what they normally do, and they have plenty of time to make up for it. When it happens in the playoff, as it did to the Phillies or Kansas City, when it happens in the World Series, you don't have that great time to recover. And I know Pete's sitting there. You can think of dead spots during the year that the Reds had, and all you need to have is a 3-day dead spot in the World Series, and you're dead.
Good pitching does that too, right, Vin?
And how? The old story that good pitching takes care of all the hitting in the world, and it usually comes out on top. Although, to be honest, going into the World Series, I thought the Dodgers would win it, three or four in a row after maybe losing 1 game to Gullet. Now, of course, I'm as wrong as I can be.
Then we may all be shoveling dirt on them a little bit too quickly. They certainly have got 1 loss ahead of them to stay in this. Let's talk a little bit about Don Sutton. You and Pete know him so well.
Well, he's a breaking ball pitcher, and he's a consistent pitcher, and he's a good bunter, and he gets the bat on the ball, and he keeps the guys close to first base. He helps the team in more ways than just throwing the ball 60 feet 6 inches. And if I had a game that I need to win of all the Dodger pitchers, I'd like to have Sutton out there.
You agree with that, Vin?
Oh, and how? Sutton, of all the pitchers on the ball club, first of all, he is the heir apparent to the role of Don Drysdale. He is the one, as Pete said, who gets the ball for the big game, and he has done it for 11 years. And, of course, he was the one who helped them get to the playoffs. He was the one to get them started properly in the playoffs. I was a little surprised in the World Series. After all, they gave him I think it was a 2-0 lead, and it got away on him. The chances are, with his confidence, his complete feeling that he can win any time going out, that he will win today's game. Unless, and I couldn't believe it, Pete, the way they were talking about Don Gullet with a sore arm, and then you saw him. How could a man throw the ball like that?
96 mile an hour,
yeah, I couldn't believe that. So Gullet doesn't have a sore arm, and now suddenly everything is scrambled.
Okay. Vin, excuse me, Pete, we got to pay some bills around here. Vin, have a nice trip back to Los Angeles.
Delighted
Thank you
to
very
go back.
much.
Thank you.
And the NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment. little bit of everything going on. 21-17, Cardinals over the Eagles. The Eagles just score. Right now, let's go up live and show you what's happening in the Atlanta-Buffalo game. It is 3-0 right now in that contest. Buffalo is ahead. They're holding on. This should be about 2nd and 10. Scott Hunter is up. You are watching live. 1:43 right now. They've got to get down there to try and get a tying field goal. Incomplete right now. That's the time left in that game right there. 1 minute and 38 seconds. Let's point out that the great O.J. Simpson in that contest has passed the 10,000-yard mark. He thus becomes only the 2nd runner in the history of professional football to achieve that tremendous standard. And so, time running out. Atlanta was a slight favorite, and they're trying to come back. We'll keep you up to date, but let's check in on some other highlights right now in that game before the action you just saw in the 4th quarter. Now, this is taped action. This is not live. We're going to show you O.J. Simpson going for a 1st down to set up the field goal. Here it comes right here. Now, remember, this is taped action. The juice, and they kicked it. It was 3-0. Now, Neil O'Donohue will kick the field goal, 3-0, with 1:33. They have just turned the ball over now to Buffalo, and here's the play that gives Simpson 10,000 yards in his fabulous career. And there he was, right there. And I was just watching a replay on Scott Hunter back to throw the ball. It was incomplete. It was not intercepted, so they're still holding on right now. All right, Irv, what have you got going over there?
We have a lot of close calls there. The Philadelphia Eagles are trailing the St. Louis Cardinals 21-17. Before we do that, let's get back up to Buffalo and find out what's going live out of Buffalo.
Hunter takes a look. He throws. It's caught by Alfred Jenkins. It's a 1st down. Alfred Jenkins catches the ball at the 38-yard line.
Alfred Jenkins made the catch.
Hunter with beautiful cool as he rolls out.
So Mickemeyer now getting a little bit closer. He can kick the field goal to tie this game. You're watching live. Now here is Alfred Jenkins. He has had a fabulous career. Takes his 1 bump. That's all he can get. Goes to the sideline right now, and Scott Hunter has got Jenkins. And look how perfectly he's working that sidelines. Watch how he works right there. Both feet coming down inbounds. Now, let's go back right now to Vin Scully as we watch Hunter. Woo! We've got everything going on right now, don't we? I can't stay up with all the action. How are the Eagles and the Cardinals doing out there? I see that one's still 21-17 right now. St. Louis is holding on there with Jimmy Hart, of course, trying to do the job. Now we are clear. Let's go back to Giant Stadium, and here's Vin Scully. Vin?
Okay, Brent. Well, down on the field, Doug Van Horn and Gary Jeter. Color them blue, giant blue, as they won. Let's go to Alex Hawkins.
Down here on the field, we've got Gary Jeter to my left, and we've got Doug Van Horn on my right. And Doug, first, I want to congratulate you on a fine victory today.
Well, thank you. It's been about 3 games in coming. We had pretty tough defense we played against today, but we hung in there, and our special teams really played super for us. Defense played well when they had to, and then we came out with a win. We're really happy.
You had your hands full this afternoon with Cleveland Elam, huh?
Well, he's the best I've ever faced, and I've been playing this league 12 years now, and I think he's an outstanding young defensive lineman.
Doug, I don't want to spoil the moment, but there has been some talk about dissension on this team, and I just asked you a little while ago, and I would like for you to tell me how you feel about your team and your coach and the situation.
Well, our coach, John McVay, he just exudes enthusiasm and carries over into the players. Anytime you're losing, you're going to have guys grumbling and moaning, and when you win, you get it. Everybody's happy, so it's just a natural part of the game. So we want to win, so we can eliminate that.
It's nothing that a win won't cure, is it?
That's right.
Congratulations again on the fine victory.
Gary, you were a busy boy today.
Yeah, man, I was trying to get to Plunkett all day, man.
I understand that near the end there, you were going in and out and all. It gets tired chasing him back there, huh?
Yeah, but, you know, a couple times I think Troy came through on him, and they was double teaming on my side, and I fell down. I got up, I missed Plunkett, was chasing him around, but, you know, we finally got him. Jack went into a prevent defense late, and it took me out, and then Jack came through on the side.
Right before the half, I thought you'd gone crazy. I thought we were doing the Gary Jeter show. You were in on nearly every tackle.
Well, you know, I've played some good games, but I've been making a lot of mistakes, and, you know, I just want to prove that I can play in the National Football League.
Well, you certainly have come a long way since the start of the season. I know you're going to have continued improvement. Keith Farnhorst is a fine offensive tackle.
Yes, he is. You know, he's a good drive blocker, and he sets up real deep on pass, you know, so it's really hard to get to him and do the moves that we practice. But, you know, I've been having a hard week of practice, and the veterans like Van Horn and Gravel and Mikulojek have really been helping me out, along with Gregory and Mendenhall, and I've been really, you know, really coming along. I hope I can continue to do, you know, as well as I've been doing.
What is, and I've always wondered this myself, what is a #1 draft choice in a city like New York? What is the pressure on you?
Man, it's tremendous, man. You know, it's like you get your name in the paper all the time if you do good, if you do bad, you know, if you do anything, man. You know, like where I go to eat, that's in the paper. So it's a lot of pressures, man, you know, but I played college football in Los Angeles, and, you know, I got a little mild taste of it, and I'm just starting to settle down and just, you know, just play football right now.
Gary, you've got a great future ahead of you. Congratulations again on the win. Doug, thank you. Now we'll take you back upstairs.
Thank you, Alex. The final score again, the Giants getting out early, holding on to beat the Giants, beating the San Francisco 49ers 20-17. San Francisco had Ray Wersching kick a 50-yard field goal to lead 3-0, but Joe Dinello came back and kicked one from 22 to tie it up 3-3. Then on a 37-yard touchdown pass from Joe Pisarcik to Gary Shirk, the Giants went out in front 10-3. After a blocked punt, the Giants recovered, and Spencer drove over from the 1-yard line. Dinello later on kicked a 23-yard field goal, and it looked like it was going to be all Giants. San Francisco battled back. Wilbur Jackson carried over from the 2 to get a little bit close. The point was made to make it 20-10, an electrifying 47-yard pass play that went from Jim Plunkett to Gene Washington suddenly made it 20-17. But the 49ers unable to get back and hung $3 short as the Giants held on to win it 20-17. We can tell you that Buffalo has evidently intercepted a pass from Scott Hunter, and right now they're freezing the ball with about 1 minute to play in that Buffalo-Atlanta game. Here in Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Vin Scully along with Alex Hawkins. Hawk, I guess the big problem for San Francisco, they were flat at the start, and as you pointed out, they were slow going on and off the field, and then when they finally did catch fire, it was too late.
Vinny, I can't hear you've lost communication, but it is a thrill to be here. I enjoyed the ball game today. You know, going in, we kind of thought that the records of the two clubs, we wouldn't have much of a football game, and it turned out to be just the opposite of that. What a great game it was.
It was a great game, and evidently a great game up there. Buffalo comes up to be the winner thanks to that last-ditch interception, and they sit on the ball as time runs out. A big day in the life of O.J. Simpson. My, he has had a lot of them as he runs for over 100 yards, 10,000 yards in his career. Here at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the Giants won their second. They have now beaten San Francisco 6 out of 8 times. And for San Francisco, a very dark hour, not only in the history of the ball club, but for the career of Coach Kenny Myers, because the last time the Giants, San Francisco, started off 0-5 was way back in 1963, and they'll be flying home tonight with a record of 0-5. This has been Scully for Alex Hawkins saying goodbye from Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, great heavyweight action from Las Vegas. Olympic gold medalist Leon Spinks takes on hard-hitting Scott Ledoux. Bernardo Mercado faces Greg Johnson. Michael Spinks, Leon's younger brother, meets Gary Summerhays in a light heavyweight match. Also, more fun with the world's strongest men competition from California. All coming up next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular. That's the final, Giants 20 and San Francisco 17. Vin Scully for Alex Hawkins. Stay tuned as the NFL Today continues after this word from your local station.
This is Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, the home of the Eagles, as today the Philadelphia Eagles play host to the St. Louis Cardinals. The Eagles with a 2-2 record, meeting the Cardinals, who are off to a slow start this year with a 1-3 record. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender, and alongside me, former Baltimore Colt Tom Matte, the only player in history who ever taped the plays on his wrist. And speaking of quarterbacks, Jim Hart is going to start today, Tom, but we don't know how far he's going to be able to go.
He's been hurt all week long, and he hasn't practiced till about Thursday. He's worn a collar around his neck. He's hurting out there in the practice field, and warming up today, we were watching him, and in talking with him, he's got some pain. But he's got 2 young quarterbacks behind him, Bill Dockers, who's a young kid who's unproven, and Pizarkowicz, who's a young boy that they put a lot of confidence when they drafted him this year, but hasn't lived up to expectations, but they found out he has a vision problem. So it should be interesting if something happens to Jim Hart.
I tell you, Tom, there's real bad blood between the Eagles and Cardinals.
Well, there's an animosity that's been built up through the years with this ball club. Here in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of hitting out in that field, and I think it's going to be a rough, tough ball game. It's going to be a kind of a game that there's going to be a lot of action, and it's going to be a spectator game.
All right, the Cardinals have won the last 6, and since Don Coryell took over, they've won 7 of 8, and we're ready to go. You know, an interesting story here. Horst Muhlman, who's coming in, is the only kicker in the National Football League that hasn't kicked a field goal yet. He is 0 for 2, so he's looking for his first one of the year.
Well, if he misses that one, someone's going to be upset about it.
This will be a 28-yard field goal attempt. Boy, this drive has taken almost 7 minutes. Holding will be Roman Gabriel. Muhlman's kick is on the way, and the Philadelphia Eagles have taken a 3-0 lead with 7 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. So the Cardinals will get the football for the first time. He's the type of guy that Bill Berkey gives all the credit in the world to. And there is Jim Hart's statistics. 4 of 5, 49 yards. The Cardinals coming in here, the #1 passing team in the NFC.
Well, I'll tell you what, the kind of receivers that they have out there, they are fantastic. They catch the ball, they're not afraid to go up for it, and they got a little Mel Gray is something phenomenal to me. I'll tell you one thing. In a crowd or any place he goes up for it.
Harris to the top, Gray to the bottom, flanked out. Second down. Fake pitch. This is Ike Harris. And Harris is to the 30, the 25, the 20. It's a foot race, and Ike Harris stays in for the touchdown. Ike Harris stayed in bounds, and he scores.
That was a great play. It was a fake by Jim Hart that set the whole thing up. He faked that dive in the middle. Here it is. Watch this fake. Really fakes that pitch to the outside. Comes back, sets up. Watch that offensive line get out in front there. Key block right there. Right now, it's a foot race down the sideline. He tiptoes in because he was balancing on that white line. But he got in there. 6 points.
38-yard touchdown. That block was by Roger Finney, who wiped somebody out on that play. Jim Bakken the point after Worley holding, and Jim Bakken hits it. And the St. Louis Cardinals have jumped on top, 7-3.
We got a flag.
Wait a minute. We've got a flag on the play. I believe it's going to go against Philadelphia, however. Referee Fred Wyatt now coming over.
Offside defense. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
You heard it, Fred Wyatt indicating that. So Ike Harris has put the Cardinals on top with a 38-yard touchdown pass, a 6-play, 72-yard drive.
Big down.
Hart giving off to Metcalf. 5, touchdown. Terry Metcalf going untouched for the touchdown. And now the Cardinals have converted 5 of 6 third downs. This time Metcalf 10 yards in the touchdown.
Here's ground level shot. This is the picture play. This is the kind you draw up in the playbook. Look at Morris getting the block right there. Knocks the linebacker to the outside. Metcalf cuts up inside. Nothing but daylight. Makes a great move here. Breaks back in. Scot-free. I'll tell you one thing. Here's a great, exciting little back there.
Second touchdown of the year. Last week a 62-yard one. Now the Cardinals trying to add to their advantage. Jim Bakken puts it up. He got it. And the Cardinals lead 14-3 with 4 minutes and 22 seconds. As exciting, Terry Metcalf getting great blocking from Wayne Morris at the point of attack. Takes it in. First down, 45-yard line. 1:45 remaining. First half. Jaworski, beautiful protection. Now breaking down. Davis chasing him. He's got some running room. Now he cranks up. Carmichael's down there. Smith is down there. It's intercepted. Intercepted by Mike Sensabaugh. Smith, Carmichael, Sensabaugh, everyone down there, and Mike Sensabaugh just wanted that football in the worst way. He comes away with the interception. His first of the year as the Cardinals top the drive. The Cardinals are the 14-3 lead in this battle, in this interdivision battle between the Eagles and St. Louis. You know, at the top of the show, Tom Addy, we said Jim Hart was iffy. What did he do in the first half? 10 of 12 for 128 yards.
He's having a fantastic afternoon. He's picking the defense apart. He's getting the time to throw the ball. The offensive line, the great offensive line, has just been great for him.
All right, they had one drive of 6.5 minutes. Now let's go to NFL Sports Control. The St. Louis Cardinals trying to win 7 in a row against The Philadelphia Eagles have a halftime lead of 14-3. We started this entire day. Everyone was saying, how's Jim Hart? Is he going to start? Is he going to be able to play? We watched him warm up. He looked like he was in pain. So he comes out and he zips the ball. 10 of 12, 128 yards and a touchdown. There's no evidence of any injury.
I'll tell you one thing. He's just playing a super ball game, and a lot of people had questions in their mind whether he could play or not. And I don't think there's any doubt that this ball player is some kind of a man coming off of injury like this. He's been hurting all week and coming in and doing a great job.
I think something that's interesting here today, too, the Eagles struck first. They moved well. They got the field goal, took a 3-0 lead. The Cardinals came right back. One of the drives taking 6 minutes and 28 seconds. It was a beautiful thing. They had 2 penalties. They overcame those and roared right up the field.
Gary, the thing that's really great about it is the ball control is necessary in a ball game like this. If you want to keep the other team away from that ball, you've got to have it. So I think that both teams started off on fire. The Eagles had the momentum, they had the enthusiasm, but I think that shifted back over to the St. Louis Cardinals, and they've controlled that ball, and they've controlled the ball game. Unless something happens this second half, it's going to be a one-way game.
The thing that's, I think, so different about the Eagles is Ron Jaworski. Maybe that's an understatement, but he seems to give this team a positive attitude. They come out, they think they can make things happen.
Well, this is what Vermeil said this morning. In fact, I talked to him down on the field prior to the game, and he says, we have a positive attitude. We've got a young quarterback in Jaworski who's a kid who's a leader. He's the kind of guy that sets an example for the rest of the team, and he's the kind of guy that we need out there leading our ball club. And, you know, that momentum, they've got to get back again and get in there.
Well, this game historically has never been decided very early, so if that runs true to form, it'll continue here this afternoon. 14-3, the St. Louis Cardinals leading the Philadelphia Eagles here in Veterans Stadium.
When you win games in the last minute, like the St. Louis Cardinals, you got to have heart. That's why we're called the Cardiac Cards. Hello, I'm Dan Deerdorf, and I'd like to show you where I live and work. This fantastic gateway arch stands for the settlers and trappers who came through here on their way to explore America. Some of them stayed and passed on their pioneer spirit. That's why the arch stands for a new St. Louis, too. For our new stadium and a rebuilt downtown. For new riverboats on the Mississippi, new parks and fountains, and people enjoying their town. These people are United Way volunteers. They're neighbors, fans, and teammates working for the Boy Scouts, Salvation Army, and many other agencies funded by our local United Way. They're proud of the Cardinals, our city, and our United Way. I guess you could say they have the spirit of St. Louis. For all of them, we'd like to say, thanks to you. It works for all of us, the United Way.
Dan Deerdorf for that preceding announcement. An announcement brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. A lot of people feel number 72 is a premier offensive tackle in the National Football League. The Forrest Gregg Award. All-Pro out of Michigan. The number 1 ranked team right now in the country. Right now we start the fourth quarter. A big first down a moment ago for the Eagles. Ron Jaworski gives off to Hogan. 50, 45, 40. He fumbles the ball. It's picked up by Roger Worley. The play is not dead. Worley at the 40, looking for some blocking help, running all over the place, and he makes it back to the 45-yard line. Stan Walters eventually made the tackle, and Mike Hogan, after his biggest run of the day, had the ball jarred loose.
I'll tell you, here's the play. Mike Hogan Jaworski hands off. Hogan picks his hole, got a big hole there. Great running room, makes a great move. He's got his first down. He even covers up the ball, but boom, he's stripped of it right there. The ball bounces up. Worley picks it up. It's really interesting. Nobody quite knows what's happening on the play here. They don't know which way to go. Worley takes off down there. Hesitates, come on back.
Mike Sensabaugh is the guy to put that head tackle on him and jarred it loose. Full house backfield. Jerry Latin trying to take it in, and Latin is in for the touchdown. Jerry Latin cracking over. And the Cardinals now have taken a 20-3 lead. He got quite a block that time from Jackie Smith. Let's see if we can pick up that block.
Watch number 81 on this. You can see bringing number 79 right back down to the inside. Latin comes in. It's just sheer determination on his part to get in that end zone. Keeps those legs driving. Got to 6 points.
280-pound Dan Deerdorf's presence is felt on that one, too. Here's Bakken's point after attempt. And the Cardinals have taken a 21-3 lead. Well, one of the big statistics in this ball game, the Eagles with 3 turnovers, the Cardinals with none. The Cardinals lead 21-3. Well, you know, Hogan now has carried the ball 15 times. He's been a busy man, and he has 88 yards. Hogan last year, their leading rusher. Looks like he is a bona fide fullback. He's going to play a lot of football for this team. Second down, 7. Play action, Jaworski, wide open. Oh, Russ, touchdown. Now watch this now. He's a praying tailback. He will pray after every touchdown. He did last week when he scored 2 of them. And he goes to one knee. His father is a Baptist minister. And he prays. They call him the praying tailback. And he was as wide open as you can be.
And it was a perfectly thrown pass. Here's the play fake again. Halfback goes right down the seam. Linebacker coverage. It's just a perfect throw. Now watch this. This guy, and he's really serious about this. There's no joke about it. He's a praying halfback, and he's thanking somebody upstairs for that.
Herb Lusk last week had a 70-yard touchdown on a run, and today a 36-yard touchdown catch. Point after attempt. Well, that didn't take very long. Newman on the way with his kick. He got it. So with 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in this game, the Cardinals with a 21-10 lead. Now we might look for the onside kick as we come back. Let's look back at that 36-yard touchdown pass.
Well, here's where Jaworski sets up, and this is where a quarterback really has to see. See number 56, a linebacker? That's his coverage. He has the first back out of the backfield, and he has him wherever he goes. And Lusk goes right down there. The linebacker, you know, Kearney just cannot cover a halfback coming down there in a straight fly shot like that.
So on a 4th down, the Eagles are going to try to go for it. 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in this game. The Cardinals trying to make it 7 in a row over Philadelphia. Next week they return home against the New Orleans Saints. The Eagles remain here. They meet the Dallas Cowboys. Krefley to the bottom of the screen. Smith and Carmichael at the top. 4th down, 25. Lots of time. Carmichael, the intended receiver, and he got it. Harold Carmichael at 6'8".
He went up for that. He deserved it.
A 50-yard touchdown pass, and they love it here in the bench. That's what you got when you're 6'8", trying to defend against him.
I'll tell you one thing. Here he is. Jaworski in a desperation pass right here, I think. He just throws it up at the big man. 6'8", 225. Look at him go up for this ball. Right up in between them. I'll tell you, that's one happy man and one happy team right now.
Well, 1:53. They'll have the 2-minute warning after the point after. Gabriel to hold, Millman to kick, and all of a sudden it's a 21-16 game. Make it 21-17, and it isn't over. So with 1:53 remaining, the Eagles just not giving up in this game. They trail 21-17. We've got an interesting thing. All the officials were huddled up at the 25-yard line before what we expect to be another onside kick by this guy, Horst Muhlman. 50-yard touchdown strike from Jaworski to Carmichael. It's 21-17. A minute 53 remaining in this game. It's amazing how the fortunes can change in a game.
It changes quickly, too. Jaworski just threw that ball up, aimed it at the big man down there, and he came up with it. Tremendous play.
All right, the onside kick will be tried by Muhlman. It's up, and the Cardinals have got it at the 50-yard line. Try to pick up who came up with it. It looks like Roger Worley. That's who it is. Roger Worley.
Get the little man. Get the little man with the hands, baby. That's what you want in there. It's really interesting. We used to practice. We used to bring in all the defensive backs and all the offensive backs and put them right up on that front line when you had a an onside kick situation, because these are the guys, you can't get those linemen with their hands all taped up who are doing the blocking for you on a regular return. You got the little guys up there could hold on to that ball.
1:51 remaining. This crowd now is very vocal. Both teams have 3 timeouts left. Jimmy Hart to Jerry Latin, and Latin fumble the ball. It's loose. I believe the Eagles have it.
All right.
Unbelievable. Gary Lattin stripped to the ball at the 46-yard line. Here comes Drew Mahalik from Notre Dame. Look at it again.
He's got that ball out, and he gets stripped right there. 2 guys, 3 guys hit him. The ball falls loose. Mahalik comes up with it. The big key fumble. We got a new ball game going on here. Look out.
All right. With 1:46 left in the game. The ball at the 46-yard line. The Philadelphia Eagles trailing 21-10. Now have cut it to 21-17. They have 3 timeouts remaining. Bo Smith and Krepley flanked to the bottom. Harold Carmichael to the top. Jaworski back. He's going again for Charlie Smith. And very, very close. Going back a Sensabaugh along with Lee Nelson. That was almost a duplication of the play to Carmichael.
That's right. It's Charlie Smith can fly down there, but they had great defensive coverage back. Both the halfbacks were back there on that one.
There's your time, 1:39. Now the question, Tom, if you're a quarterback, do you keep going for everything or you got to work for a first down?
I'll tell you one thing, I work for that first down. That's what you've got to do. You take it by bits and pieces. Let's get the first down and work it on down there. This is exactly what St. Louis has got to stop, is the fact that they're going to hit those short outlet guys coming up there, picking those 5-6 yards up.
You know, I believe they've got 6 defensive backs. They've got Giblin in there, also Severson in there, along with their original 4.
They're going with their prevent defense.
Here is Dawson giving chase to Jaworski off to Hogan. Hogan does not get out of bounds. He's knocked down at the 48-yard line. Lee Nelson really filled on that play. Excellent play by Lee Nelson. And now Philadelphia calls timeout.
Lee Nelson's a tough kid. Jeez. 175 pounds, he comes up there and just takes on Hogan like that, knocks him down.
1:31 left. The Eagles have suspended or used their first of 3 timeouts. A reminder again on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Some real boxing coming your way. Next Saturday at 4:30, Leon Spinks against Scott Ledoux from Las Vegas. And then Michael Spinks, his brother, who won a gold medal in the Olympics, going against Gary Summerhays. And then what a heavyweight matchup. Bernardo Mercado against Greg Johnson. Mercado 6'4", 221 pounds. Johnson 6'3", 210. And then the world's strongest men, the wheelbarrow competition. 750 pounds, 30 yards with a wheelbarrow, and that is a day's work in itself. All right here on the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30. We've got a spectacular going right now. Well, you know, the Cardinals, I said this earlier, Tom, never can win one easy. And right now, they are being put to a severe test.
I tell you, it's a heart attack time again. And every game I've ever seen, the Cardinals are real, you know, it's right in there, a cliffhanger right to the end of the ball game.
Ron Jaworski has the play information. Here's the situation. It's 3rd down, 8 yards to go. 1 minute, 31 seconds left to go in the game. The Eagles have used the first timeout. They have 2 remaining. Eagles on 3rd down conversions, 2 of 11. And here's a big one now. Jaworski on 3rd down, 8 yards to go. Throwing, and Sullivan. Looked like Sullivan had been knocked down earlier, tried to get back up. Now it's 4th down, and you know they'll go for this.
No choice. They've got to go for the 4th down. 4th down and 8 yards to go, a little over 8.
It's Sensabaugh, Giblin, Worley, Severson, and Nelson. They've got everybody they can get in that secondary.
You got that 2-minute pass defense in there right now.
And you think we don't have another good game coming up? Another Eastern Division battle. Washington against Dallas. And that'll be some battle in Irving, Texas. 4th down. Still 8 yards to go. Jaworski with time. Krepley is picked off. It's picked off. Mark Arneson picks it off. There is a flag on the play at the 42-yard line. Well, that was quite an interception by Arneson stepping in there.
Came right in front of the receiver and picked that ball off. That's a great drop by the linebacker. Here's Jaworski setting up. Good time to throw it. And the linebacker comes right across in front. If he leaves it out to the left receiver over here, the halfback coming across, he's got it.
The penalties against Philadelphia. Obviously, the Cardinals will refuse it. That's the 3rd interception of the day off of Ron Jaworski. There's Ken Stone, 23. Boy, that has to be a relieved Cardinal bench right now with 1:14.
It sure is, and a dejected Philadelphia Eagle ball club. But, you know, they played a great ball game here today. They came on. They're not a team that gives up. They've got that kind of guts that keeps them hanging in there, and they're coming back. And this team is going to improve week by week.
Boy, it shows you how tough it is to win a game. Just got to battle for it all. 1:14 left. Hart giving off. Wayne Morris carrying and protecting the ball to the 42-yard line. The Eagles want to call a timeout and will. So they use their second timeout. With 1:07 remaining. So with 1:07 left in this game, the Cardinals trying to hang on to this 21-17 lead. And Jim Hart, 17 of 24 for 210 yards.
Fantastic day for not being able to play.
And Wayne Morris inside the 35 to the 33-yard line, and that's going to do it because the Eagles cannot stop the clock, and this ball game is over. As the Cardinals, and what a tough battle it's been for them, win this one 21-17. Their record moves to 2-3. This reminder, the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30. Boxing as well as the world's strongest men. This is Gary Bender speaking for Tom Maddie, saying so long from the vet in Philadelphia, where the Cardinals defeated the Eagles 21-17. Stay tuned as the NFL Today continues after this word from your local station.
A very difficult situation for Ferguson. He'll probably give the ball to O.J. on a run.
Second down and 22 for the Buffalo Bills, 46-yard line of Atlanta. There's no score in the first quarter. Now the Falcons jump back, and they go to Braxton on a run. Play football. And Atlanta has this one. Inside the Falcons 35, Braxton has now fumbled twice. And in fairness to Jim Braxton, he has a lot of problems with a pinched neck, and it's affecting his play very obviously. We have a timeout right now at no score.
What the Bills try to do is follow up the Falcon defense. They hand it off to Braxton here, but good playing by Kirkendall, number 54. And watch Ortega come in here and shake the ball loose. There it is. The ball is on the ground. And Rick Bias, who is starting ahead of Frank Reed, recovers it for the Falcons to give him a good field position.
And we thank you, Buffalola, where the temperature is 40 degrees. O.J. Simpson said to somebody, we should have been here last Thursday. We had autumn.
I spent more cold days up here in Buffalo playing in War Memorial Stadium, where not only did they have snow, but they had a lot of mud.
Bo Cornell comes in the game. He can play linebacker and is quick enough to cover the pass. Quick throw, and the ball is intercepted. The ball was picked off by Ike Harrison. They're whistling it dead. Ike Harrison's in a foot race, but this play will come back. The play will come back. It was whistled dead as Ike Harrison is right now going to find that out.
Well, it's all right. Dwight Harrison wanted to get loosened up. It's a little cool day. A nice 70-yard jog will keep his muscles nice and loose when he has to come in again.
Watch this rush now. They force Hunter to dump it.
Well, it's a safety blitz by Tony Green, and he tries to get the ball out to Alfred Jenkins. Dwight Harrison jumped in front of it and picked it off.
Right now we have 4:03 to play in the first quarter, and the Falcons' drive is stopped on the first interception of Scott Hunter this season. The Bills have the ball back. Well, they've been going right at him a few times here. Apparently they're not overwhelmed by him. He's playing down the nose of Van Note and Thielman, and Dunston has been on his seat part of this first half. Hunter gets time. Home run ball. Alfred Jenkins is there. Broken up by Steve Freeman. Wow. Ball was there, and Freeman made the perfect defense.
I tell you, it's good bump and run between Freeman and Jenkins, and it's a good call by the officials not throwing the flag. Hunter has pretty good time. Good protection by the offensive line. Takes his time, gets the ball up there for Jenkins on a fly pattern. A little bumping down there, but it's really a good defensive play by Freeman. So it brings up a 4th down situation, and Mickmeyer comes in to attempt a field goal. What's the distance down on this field goal?
This is at the 34. It'll be a 44-yard attempt. John James holds. Mickmeyer's had his problems this year, and they continue as he misses another one. I believe he is now 4 for 12. So the Falcons have a scoring opportunity, but they cannot convert as the 44-yard field goal attempt is wide to the left, and so the Bills take over the football with no score on the board. And so now Neil O'Donohue comes into the game from Auburn University to try the field goal. O'Donohue joined the team late in a contract holdout. So far, he's hit on just 1 of 4 field goals, has scored only 7 points as the Bills' place kicker. Got that one. He got that one indeed from 30 yards out. O'Donohue puts the first points of the game on the board. So it's a 3-0 game. Buffalo with 4:44 to play in the first half.
And O.J. Simpson closes in on that magic 10,000 yardage gain figure. Meanwhile, a lot of you wondering, Terry Bradshaw, will he quarterback Pittsburgh tomorrow night? You're aware that he broke the wrist last Sunday down in Houston. Well, we've checked with Coach Chuck Noll. He'll wear a half wrist, a hard cast, halfway up his wrist, right here. Now, Noll says no pain throwing the ball, no trouble, but he can't take snaps well. He tried to have the center ease off and threw the timing off. He says that Terry will have to play through the pain. If not, Neil Graff will be the quarterback against Cincinnati. And Irv, Ed Garvey has called you.
He certainly has on another pain. This time, Kenny Payne, a wide receiver from the Green Bay Packers, who was suspended and fined $1,000 because of disciplinary action last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Players Association and the Packer management reached an agreement which simply stated that Ken Payne should be reimbursed his $1,000, which he was fined, and also paid for today's game. However, the Packers have put Kenny Payne on no recall waiver, so in a few hours he'll become a free agent, not a football.
All right, Irv, let's check now all of the scores. O.J. Simpson gains 70 yards in the first half. Buffalo leads Atlanta by a field goal. Green Bay and Detroit also a battle of the field goals. 3-3 at the half. St. Louis and Philadelphia. Yes, Jim Hart is quarterbacking, playing well, leading the Eagles 14-3 in the third quarter. The Giants are ahead of the hapless San Francisco 49ers 17-3 in the third. Baltimore leads Kansas City 14-6 in the third. John Brockington, now playing for the Chiefs, has scored a touchdown. Minnesota leading Chicago 10-0 in the second quarter. So tough to come back after a tough Monday night game. Houston and Cleveland, John Hadle quarterbacking the Oilers, and they are ahead of the Browns. And yes, Greg Pruitt is playing 10-0 in the first quarter. Irv, with Phyllis not here because she's on assignment out on the West Coast, I guess that leaves the music piece for you.
The music piece of me won't be as pretty, but it'll be okay. During the 17 years of their existence, the Dallas Cowboys have had only one head coach, Tom Landry. And he started out in 1960 with a ragtag expansion team which went the entire year without a victory. But right from the start, Landry knew he was going to build a mountain, as sung by Sammy Davis Jr.
Gonna build a mountain from a little hill. Gonna build me a mountain, at least I hope I will. Gonna build a mountain, gonna build it high. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, I only know I'm gonna try. Gonna build me a daydream from a little hope. Gonna push that daydream up the mountain slope. Gonna build a daydream, gonna see it through. Gonna build a mountain and a daydream, gonna make them both come true. Gonna build a heaven from a little hell. Gonna build me a heaven, and I know darn well, if I build my mountain with a lot of care, and take my daydream up the mountain, then heaven will be waiting there. When I build that heaven, as I will someday, and the Lord sends Gabriel to take me away, what a fine young son to take my place. I'll leave a son in my heaven on earth with the good Lord's grace. With a fine young son on earth with the good Lord's grace. Gonna build me a mountain.
Cleveland trying to build a mountain right now. 10-7, the Browns have just gotten on the board. The NFL Today will continue on CBS right after these messages from your local station. Green Bay and Detroit are just getting ready to kick off the second half. In the first half, they exchanged field goals, but the Packers probably should have scored 6. Watch the turnover. Right at the 5-yard line. Couldn't score. Field goal made it 3-0, and the Lions later tied it. Irv?
In the third quarter in Philadelphia, Brent, the St. Louis Cardinals lead the Eagles by a score of 14-3, and they have the ball right now, but early in the ball game, Jimmy Hart got on the board quickly by throwing a screen pass out there to his wide receiver, number 84, Ike Harris. And Ike picked up a wall of blockers and tight ropes along the sideline and draws first blood by the Cardinals. They took a 7-3 lead. Later in the second quarter, he comes and hands the ball off to Terry Metcalf, his great tailback, who rambles in from about 10 yards out, and the score is still 14-3 in the third quarter.
Irv, all of the Atlanta Falcon fans, of course, are keeping their eyes also on the San Francisco 49ers, the team they have to beat in the NFC West. Well, here is how the 49ers are playing against the Giants. Jackson fumbles, and the Giants' Brian Kelly recovers. Here is the Niners' defensive secondary working against tight end Shirk. 10-3 Giants. Here's how the 49ers have been punting. Blocked, recovered inside the 5. 2 plays after that, Spencer scored 6 more, and it was 17-3. Plunkett tried to rally them, went upfield for Gene Washington, underthrew him. Kelly intercepted it, 17-3. And they are now in the third quarter. And the showdown in the Central Division, Chicago, Minnesota. Chicago coming off that upset Monday night against Los Angeles. The Bears with the ball. Avellini couldn't hold on to the snap, and the Vikings recovered it at the 30. Here's Foreman going in for the game's first touchdown. 7-0. Then the Vikes kicked it off. You talk about a Monday night jinx. Another fumble. And the Vikes kicked the field goal to take a 10-0 lead. And right now, let's go back to Buffalo. Don Crickey and Nick Bonaconti, a couple of Notre Damers. How you guys doing up there?
Real well, Brent. Thank you very much. We have the chill air coming in even more so now as the temperature is dropping, and the score remains the Bills 3 and the Atlanta Falcons nothing. Atlanta has been a ball control team this year, but the Bills have had the ball more here in the first half. The only points of the game, the 30-yard field goal. Looking at the first half statistics comparatively, it has not been an offensive game. The Falcons with 39 plays, the Bills with 32, although the Bills possessed the ball longer. 7 first downs to 5, rushing yardage, the Bills with a substantial edge there. O.J. Simpson with his 70 yards in the first half, 27 coming on the final play of the half. Neither team able to throw the ball with much authority. The weather is very much a result for that. Total yards 130 to 102. You see the pass completions. Ferguson only 3 of 15. And his counterpart Scott Hunter has been intercepted once. For the first time this season, interception of Scott Hunter is 4 for 14. So in the second half, the Falcons are going to have to open up their offense a little bit more if they're to put some points on the board, because it doesn't look like there's going to be many put up at all today. The Bills doing a big job as the game wore on, starting to take control of the Falcon offense. They started to shut it down pretty well. The Buffalo Bills head coach Jim Ringo, he was given a vote of confidence, as we mentioned at the outset, by the team's owner Ralph Wilson during the week. But with an 0-13 head coaching record, an 0-4 record this year, the attendance dwindling, there are some 50,000 empty seats here today. The future is very much on the line, quite probably, for Jim Ringo in this game. He is very popular with his players, as we mentioned. They say they want to win for him. They certainly have not done that. Still got some loyal fans in Buffalo, though. They stay right with it throughout the bitter cold day. Actually, we had a little bit of rain. There's a possibility of some snow flurries as the game wears on. That is a possibility. We remind you that immediately following this game, you'll see doubleheader action, one of the big matchups of this season so far, the Redskins and the Cowboys will be going at it. You'll see that on most of these stations here on CBS. On some, you'll be watching the New Orleans Saints play the Rams at Los Angeles. We'll be back with a second half kickoff in just a moment. And now we're going to have a 27-yard field goal attempt coming up for Neil O'Donohue. The ball is spotted down at the 10, 7-yard back to the hold. And 10 yards deeper into the end zone makes it a 27-yard attempt. He hit one from 30 in his first try. O'Donohue, who hits it with the soccer style, swings into the ball, has plenty of height. Like he did. He didn't get it there. He blew the chip shot. O'Donohue didn't make it work, so a long, sustained drive by the Buffalo Bills comes up dry. And now the Falcons get back the ball as they trail in the game 3-0 in the third quarter. Second down and 5 now for Buffalo. 10 minutes and 5 seconds to play in the game. 3-0 Buffalo. Let's see who's got the ball. The Falcons have the football at the 32-yard line. O.J. coughed up the ball. He did not find the handle on the pitchback. A lot of people had a shot at it, but a Falcon was the last to make the recovery.
They just hit O.J. in the shoulder pads and bounced off. It becomes a loose ball. They start kicking it around, and the guy closest to it is Joe Ferguson. It looks like he has it here, but it squirts out from him, and Atlanta recovers the football. A tremendously big play for the Atlanta Falcon defense, giving him possession.
Big play.
The Bills go into a 5 defensive back situation as they expect the Falcons to throw.
3rd and 9, Atlanta. Big rush. Hunter gets it up. Incomplete. It was nowhere near an intended receiver. So that brings up 4th down now for Atlanta. The ball is at the Buffalo 34-yard line, but it's 4th down coming up. And the clock shows 7:30 to play, and now John James will try to put the Bills in the hole by knocking it out of bounds inside the 5 if he can.
Don, they can't possibly go for a field goal. Mickemeyer, although he has a strong leg, would be kicking into a gale wind. So the only thing they can do really is to punt the football and try to pin the Bills back.
In a sense, the strong wind could serve John James well because he can hit it high and hard and the wind will hold it up. Falcons will have time to get down. He's going to throw a pass. Incomplete. John James gambles on 4th down. He was throwing the ball to Ray Easterling, who was running a pattern right over the middle. And as you see, the play is broken up. And so the Falcons gamble. They come up short, and the Bills have the ball. As we have a timeout on the field. 7:27 left to play in the game. And the Buffalo Bills continue to lead 3-0. Buffalo's in the front. There's no question about that. Bateman is back with the wind at his back. Rylan Lawrence is back deep. Edgar Fields fighting for the ball. It's picked up by Cornell. It'll be Buffalo's football. Or it'll be Atlanta's football. Atlanta's football very definitely as the Atlanta Falcons come through. It might have been Robert Pennywell, that young linebacker from Grambling. That was never in doubt. He got all of it with his body.
There it is. You see Marv Bateman, who takes his time because it was really a bad snap. And number 59, Robert Pennywell, comes in clean right up the middle and blocks the punt and gives Atlanta a big first down on a Buffalo 13.
So the Falcons now with the biggest opportunity they've had today at the 13. Straight ahead run. It looked like there might have been motion in the Falcon offensive line. It was just somebody getting off the ball very quickly. The left guard, Dave Scott, really fired out. The gain is down close to the 10-yard line, and there will be 2nd down and 7 for Atlanta.
Don, we may be looking at overtime here.
Could very well. This is just the afternoon to sit out in the great outdoors, isn't it?
That's right. Beautiful day.
Just like Coral Gables. Monroe Ely takes it down close to the 7. And that will bring up 3rd and short yardage. This will present an interesting dilemma if the Falcons run the ball and come up just short of a 1st down. Do they try to go when they have this great opportunity to win the game now for a 4th down and get the 1st down? Or will they try the field goal? We still have another 3rd down to go. That is just speculation if they should come up short on this 3rd down play. It is 3rd down and 4. Hunter, look. Throws. The ball is caught. Did he get the 1st down? It's going to be very, very close. Shane Nelson made the hit. Monroe Ely caught the ball. He was waffled by Shane Nelson and is close enough to measure, and it looks like it might be just short. So that we come to that speculation we were presenting.
It looks like it's going to be a 4th down situation. And this is where the coaches earn their money, Don. It's 4th down and about a foot. They are going to measure it. And Bennett's going to have to make a decision either to go for the 1st down and possibly the win or go for the field goal, which would tie the ball game. Let's look at the measurement, see if it is.
If they come up short, they did. Now,
they did come up short. It's more than a foot. It's more like almost a yard.
So with the Buffalo Bills leading 3-0, the Atlanta Falcons are going to go for it. And if you look at percentages of what worked for Atlanta earlier, I think we're going to see the quarterback, Scott Hunter, slide off his center off to the right behind Van Note and Thielman and Bryant and try to get it himself.
Well, I would like to agree with you, but I can't because I think they're going to give it to Monroe Ely, number 46, the fullback. He's been the bread and butter man all day long. He's been the man to pick up the tough yardage. So if I was Lehman Bennett, that's the man I would go to.
But the Bills will be shooting their linebackers on that blitzing defense. They can fill the gaps if you take the time to hand off. Well, we'll see, Nick. You only call defensive signals for 2 Super Bowl championships. Let's see. The Bills dig in. 4th down and inches. Biggest play of the game. John Hunter goes down. I don't think he got there. He didn't get there. Scott Hunter calls a naked reverse. He calls his own number and runs with the ball and doesn't get there. And Buffalo takes it over with 3:36 to play.
30,000 fans sounding like 80,000 fans the Bills are used to hearing, resounding for the Bills defense, who held down on the 10-yard line and held the Falcons out of the end zone.
Welcome to Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota for this afternoon's NFL battle between the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. Hi, everybody. I'm Frank Lieber along with Johnny Morris. First place at stake today in the NFC Central Division. Interesting matchup between 2 interesting ball clubs, and I guess you can start at quarterback, really.
Yes, Bob Avellini of the Bears did a fantastic job last week, especially because it was the first game that he called himself since he was in high school. Jack Pardee, the Bear coach, decided that he needed more leadership on the field. Rather than sending in the plays, he was going to give Bob Avellini a chance to do it. He did a great job. He completed 11 of 17 passes for 3 touchdown passes. They upset the Rams 24-23. Big night for the Bears last Monday. They're trying to continue for today.
Okay, Francis Tarkenton, age 37. Every time he throws a pass, it's a new NFL record.
He is something else, a great field general, and he knows, Fran Tarkenton knows, that the Bears are 14th on pass defense and 14th on total defense in the NFC. So you can bet that he's going to come out and throw that ball today.
And, of course, you got two of the better running backs in the National Football League, maybe two of the best, as a matter of fact, plying their trade this afternoon. First and goal to go from the 2-yard line.
This is what Minnesota did last week and in several of their games. They scored early in the first quarter. Oh, thank you very much. Last week they got 2 quick touchdowns on Detroit and made it stand up. Now they're moving 2 quick drives, the fumble, and another drive, and they're in good shape to go ahead here.
Looks like might be Mark Keller, a running back, in there with Foreman, but they give to Foreman nevertheless, and Foreman has 6 more. Made it look easy.
Okay, I mentioned the good blocking, but this was mostly good running because there were a couple of men on the tackles there. You could see Fensig trying to make the tackle, gets double teamed, and Foreman just dips out and goes into the end zone. That's what you call easy pickings on that one.
30-yard drive, and it took him just 5 plays. And as I recall, Foreman was in on every one of those plays. Cross to hold, Cox with the extra point. A flag is down. The kick is good. There was a penalty marker down. So let's wait and see if it's against the Bears. Obviously, the Vikings will decline since they made the extra point. Bob Frederick, the referee, he'll give us the call.
Number 57 on the defense was offside, and the point is good.
Offside against Don Reeves of the Bears, but the point was good. So obviously, Minnesota declines the penalty, and they have a 7-0 lead, 5:27 left to play in the opening period. All right, here's Cox. Art Best is deep for the Bears. The kick a little bit short. Best at the 10. 15, 20. Fumbles the ball. Minnesota recovers. Joe Blahak, number 21, picked up the fumble. And the Vikings again have excellent field position at the Bear 20.
Okay, Art Best, who's just been back on the kickoffs a couple of weeks here, carrying that ball rather loosely, and then he goes right into his 4 horsemen right there. Didn't look like a very good place to run to me, and then the ball was knocked away, and Blahak made the fumble recovery. The Vikings are in good shape on the 20.5-yard line.
It looked like he ran into his own man there, Jerry.
He did. He ran right in. He's supposed to follow his block, and you really followed him.
Vikings leading 7-0. Foreman stopped at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Wrestled down. 4th down. They still need a couple for the first down with the ball at the 13-yard line. And Fred Cox, who missed earlier from 36 yards away, comes on. Cox starting the season trailed Lou Groza by only 33 points. And Groza, number 2 in the all-time list. That's a 30-yard try, and it's good. The Vikings mount their lead to 10-0 on the 30-yard field goal as they capitalize on the Chicago Bears' second fumble of the opening period.
Alan Page has lost about 15 pounds, and they're putting right on the center of on the nose of the center, which they haven't done too much in the past few years, that odd defense. And usually they have about a 270-pounder over the head of the center. But with the Vikings, it's Page, who's 228 or 230, and he's just been so quick that he's been able to do the job.
That Bear offense has done some kind of job allowing the opposition to sack Avellini just twice this year. And you see that he gets pinned for only the 3rd time. It was Fred McNeil, blitzing linebacker, number 54. Now, why would I throw that statistic in just at that point?
I'll tell you.
Well, that sets up a 3rd down and long situation. Bears are back at their 36-yard line. Timeout. We'll be back in a moment. Once again, NFL Today coming up at halftime. First down, goal to go. Bears from the 9-yard line. Avellini on the rollout. Fires. Oh! Bo Rather for the touchdown. Boy, you don't think he caught that in a crowd.
And you should have seen the spike by number 69, Reeve Story. But I'll tell you, Bob Avellini threaded the needle on that pass. The partial rollout,
Good blocking by the line out front. Walter Payton's in on the blocking too. He stops. Rather just went down there, turned in, and look at that ball. Right between two Minnesota defenders. The Bears are back in the ball game despite being dominated the first part of the game. Here's the rollout. Everybody's out there, even Piper, number 53, looking for somebody. And there is the pass right between the Viking defenders. Good play by the Bears. It's a new ball game.
Bob Thomas, extra point try is blocked. Up the middle. This is where we came in last year. As I recall, they had problems with a couple of extra points in last year's game up here that eventually proved to be the difference in winning and losing.
It may have been Matt Blair. I'm not sure. Let's take a look.
Looks like it came up the middle.
I think it was Matt Blair. Yes, it was. Who knocked that ball with his hand, just leaped up. He's got great leaping ability. And that's going to be a very important point. It's 13-6. It could, who knows, it could have an overtime.
68 yards, the Bear drive, and it took them 6 plays. Stacked up on the right side of the defensive line of the Minnesota Vikings. Official's going to put it down at the 2.
If the Bears get close enough, we can get the slow motion cameras ready for Walter Payton's dive up and over for the touchdown. He probably gets higher and flies farther than anybody in the NFL once he gets close enough and gets a chance to leap.
Second down, goal to go. Payton. Jim Marshall, 39 years old and 18 years in the league.
Well, they decided to go off the tackle almost to the end run side, and there was no place to go because great play by Jeff Seaman and a follow-up by Jim Marshall, who was sure-handed when he got a hold of Payton that time. Good defense by the Vikings.
Minnesota digging in, crowd getting louder. Third down, goal to go. Avellini on the roll, fires, touchdown! Greg Letta puts the Bears in the lead.
Bob Avellini once again. Bud Grant says he's the most improved aspect of the Bears. He almost collided with Walter Payton, rolls out. The Vikings smell it coming, but Avellini just zipped the ball on the run, and there was Greg Latta, sure-handed with those taped up, but he got the ball. Watch this here. Almost busted his pattern coming out on the rollout, and that's a tough pass to catch. You got to get your hands up there. If you miss it, it's going to zip right through, and then it's a touchdown.
Well, Avellini, who had never thrown a touchdown pass against the Vikings, has 2 to his credit. Thomas connects on the extra point, and the Bears have taken the lead for the first time this afternoon with 2 minutes and 22 seconds left to play in quarter number 3. Chicago, by the margin of a field goal, leads it 16-13. And again, you look back at that block extra point, it would mean that the Vikings, of course,
would have a chance to tie the game, but there's a long time. I don't think it's going to end up 16-13 or even 16-0.
Cox has made 2. This will be a 21-yard attempt. Not much more than an extra point when you get right down to it. Krause to put it down. It's good. So we are tied. The Vikings and the Bears are knotted up at 16 apiece with 12 minutes and 24 seconds left in the game. And the Bears field goal unit comes on, and this is going to take about a 40-yard effort by Bob Thomas, but the wind here is at his back. He will have advantage of the wind. Ball is at the 24, which means they'll put it down at about the 31, so make it about a 41-yard field goal try.
And I'm sure that John Hilton of the special teams said, be careful, the Vikings are famous for turning the game around and blocking the kicks. They've already blocked one. He's got to get a high trajectory as Blair is back off the line.
It's blocked. Minnesota will take over at the 25. The block came up the middle, and the Vikings did what they are so famous for. Last year, they blocked 16 kicks. Remember the Rams game last year in the playoffs?
And there's the leap up there. The ball just doesn't get up there. I think it was Matt Blair and...
Might have been Nate Allen coming across on the outside and got a piece of it.
But I really think it might have been Blair that made the block. He does such a tremendous job for him.
It'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Chicago Bears at their own 6-yard line. Sure, Morris is on his way downstairs. It goes in overtime. He's going to have to reverse tracks and come back on up here. Jeff Seaman, who calls the defensive signals for the Minnesota Vikings, talking things over with Bud Grant. Tarkin in there too. 17 seconds left to play. Vikings led at halftime 13-6. Bears took the lead in the final period, and the margin of difference right now is a blocked extra point. After the first Bear touchdown, Bob Thomas' extra point try was blocked by Matt Blair. On the 3rd down play, Harper getting the call and stopped at the line of scrimmage. Let's see if the Vikings are indeed out of timeouts, and I think that's the case. So the clock will proceed down to 0, and we will go to sudden death overtime. This is the Bears' first sudden death overtime game ever in regulation. The Vikings have played several before, the most recent, as we mentioned, their opening game of this season, which they and the Dallas Cowboys went to overtime, and the Vikings wound up losing that game, and that's been the only blemish on their record so far this year. We'll be back in Bloomington in just a moment. Sudden death overtime in Bloomington, Minnesota. The Bears' first sudden death game ever against the Minnesota Vikings. Just a moment ago, we had the coin toss. This is just like the start of a regular game. It's the 3rd time the Vikings have been to sudden death, including once this year. And the toss of the coin was won by the Chicago Bears.
And Frank, after running down to the bottom of the stadium, I have run back up so I could be with you as the Bears won the toss. And that doesn't necessarily mean too much, because 58% of the teams that have won the toss in overtime have lost the game. So I picked that out as I was going through numerous statistics last night.
It's not bad, John. Just off the top of your head, 58%.
And I'm sure, though, that any team would like to win the toss. So it has to be an advantage for the Bears to have the ball first. So it did wind up 16-16, and a lot at stake. A 2-game swing on this one game. If the Vikings win it, they'll be 2 games ahead of the Bears. If the Bears win it, they're all tied with Minnesota for first place, along with Detroit.
Might just repeat the ground rules for the sudden death. You have a 3-minute intermission, of course, the toss of the coin, which you've already had, and a 15-minute sudden death period. The last 2 minutes, if they get that far, are like the end of the first half of the game. That type of rules apply, and if they get through the 15-minute period and no one scores, it goes into the books as a tie. But the first team to score is the winner by any means. The statistics, Vikings wound up 316 total yards to Chicago's 294. Pretty close. Bears ran 2 more plays in the Vikings, 66-64. Avellini, 13 out of 21. Tarkinen, 13 out of 26.
And it all goes back to a couple of block kicks. This ball game would have been the Bears had not an extra point been blocked. And then a try for a field goal in the final minute and a half, which was blocked. Great defense by the Minnesota Vikings, who have done it so many times.
And obviously, Les Cassidy is hurt. We have to assume that Hank felt that he better get Marsalis, the more experienced 8-year man, in there ahead of first-year man Craig Cassidy on that corner. 2nd and 3. Wendell Tyler. Tyler will score. Touchdown, Los Angeles. Wendell Tyler, with that great speed, once he had the opening, he burned down that sideline with a good block from number 65, Tom Mack.
Take a look at this. Show the speed. They wanted to get Tyler in the game today just for this purpose, outside, to try to break outside of that tough Saint defense. You saw the block by Mack, and you see the quickness of Wendell Tyler.
So the Rams open the scoring in this game, and we're down to 5:58 remaining in this second period.
You can see another block right here. You see the block right there as he cuts Lois Grooms down and allows Tyler to get outside. Just a good offensive play, good execution on the Rams' part.
Raphael Septien will attempt the point after, and we've got a momentary delay. And perhaps a penalty signaled here against the Rams for delay.
What happened to his whistle?
Well, they're going to kick it again. That much we know, and it'll be from the 20. Septien was in the New Orleans Saints camp, but could not beat out the established Rich Zarro. Came over to the Rams, won the job here. Mexican origin, went to school at Southwest Louisiana. He makes the extra point. And so, with 5:58 to go here in the first half, the Rams are on the scoreboard. They lead it 7-0. So Raphael Septien here on 4th down will attempt from the 20-yard line. Holding is Nolan Cromwell, number 21, rookie defensive back. It is wide from the 21-yard line for Septien, and he can't be too happy with that one. He's an engaging young man. I spent some time talking to him at practice on Friday and kidding him about saying, you know, I hope for your sake that I'm not saying wide to the left, Raphael, at any time. And maybe he was thinking about that. I don't know. But a 21-yarder missed.
He's made a couple of movies, hasn't he? Looked like it was a good hole. Got the ball down. It's just line up. And sidewinders have a tendency to hook that thing a little bit. It's probably what he did there.
Well, Saints fans delighted that he missed. Rams with 5 backs in there now. Brodzinski comes out. Nolan Cromwell comes in this 3rd down passing situation. 1:02 remaining in the half. Manning 3 for 12 and 44 yards. Just not been able to get it going here so far, but it's only a 7-0 ball game, so we got a long way to go here. They can just throw out what happened in the first half. When things begin, they're only 1 touchdown down. Flag is down. Complete to Muncy. Muncy to the 40-yard line. 41 will call it as he goes out of bounds to stop the clock. 55 seconds remaining. Let's see who the flag is against.
I think we had an offsides on Freddie Dryer then. He took a little quick start and didn't get out of that neutral zone there. He never backed back out of it, so they call him for offsides, but they'll decline the penalty and take the big gain.
So the Saints still with the opportunity here.
Defense, number 89, decline. First down.
If they could score before the end of the half, after the way they have played in this first half offensively, they got to feel pretty good if they go in there all even.
I think you said the second half, they're in the ball game with them trailing only 7 points, and to get points here would be a big plus for them.
They're at the 40-yard line with a first down. Split backs. Wide left is Gilliam. Wide right is Herman. Swing pass. They have blockers in front of them. Galbraith inside the 30. They use that play quite a bit, Sonny, where they set up a screen over there with 2 or 3 blockers on the right side that looks like a little swing pass out there, but they've got men in front of them.
Hey, do they release their lineman? It's a quick screen. You see the blocking need to get there. Excellent blocking.
30 seconds left. Manning has got time. He's going to run it. Slides in at the 17-yard line. 21 seconds remaining.
And they call a timeout. Good running then by Archie.
Isaiah Robertson made the tackle, and Robertson, involved in a little set-to on Monday night, complained to Walter Payton on what Robertson thought was a late hit by Walter Payton, and he said, I thought it was worse for somebody who's such a classy guy and a clean football player to do that. He thought that he had blocked late on a carry by Walt Harper of the Bears, and after the game he had quite a set-to with Walter, and he felt, however, Robertson felt that he had been misquoted during the week, and to the extent of the remarks that he made, and he wanted to set the record straight, saying, yes, I was plenty mad at Payton. I told him I thought it was a late hit. Walter said he didn't, and I said, well, if that's the way you're going to play, we'll know what the rules are the next time the Rams and the Bears meet, and I'll be looking for you.
Look out.
But he did want to get the record straight that he didn't threaten Payton with anything more serious than that, and Robertson felt that he had been misquoted in some of the remarks written during the week.
You know, we talked with Archie Manning last night, and we saw him go over and talking with Hank Stram. Talked with him, he said his arm is as strong as ever after the 2 operations and missing last season. He feels real good, and we asked him about the 21 sacks. that he's had so far. And he said, look, I've had 5 days rest and I've recovered. I feel all right about that. He said, I feel like it's about the 8th week of the season, though.
All right, Archie Manning. Mike Fanning is in, number 79, replacing Cody Jones at defensive left tackle for the Rams. 21 seconds remain. The Saints have one more timeout left.
They got that. Complete to Henry Childs, number 85, and the Saints are on the board with 17 seconds on the clock. A perfect strike from Archie Manning to tight end Henry Childs. Elmendorf on the coverage simply could not handle the big man. 6'2" Henry Childs. The thing he does so well here, and you see the protection he gets. Good protection. He gets it over the linebacker. As you said, perfectly thrown strike right there. And he hits him in the end zone for the touchdown. And they can tie this thing up here with this point after.
Now, Rich Zarro doesn't miss too many. Blanchard will hold. Low snap. Zarro scuffs it up, and it's good. And so the Saints have pulled into a tie with 17 seconds remaining here in the first half. We'll see that again as Zarro had to kind of scoop this one.
He comes up with it and gets it down. I've always felt that would be a tough thing to do, is hold that thing left-handed. Let's take a look at this pass again. Excellent throw by Archie and good pass protection, something that has bothered the Saints. And you see when he has time, that's what Hank Stram's talking about. He has the ability to throw that thing just like he did there.
So, pretty much the kind of a football game we expected. It was dominated by the Los Angeles Rams, who squandered one scoring opportunity early, went ahead 7-0, but Archie Manning brought the Saints back to tie at 7.
Next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Spectacular presents a boxing triple-header with gold medalist Leon Spinks taking on Scott Ledoux in a heavyweight contest. Gold medalist Michael Spinks goes against the Canadian champion Gary Summerhays in a light heavyweight matchup. 10th-ranked heavyweight Bernardo Machado tangles with Greg Johnson. And the world's strongest men competition features the wheelbarrow race. That's next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern.
Would you believe that Denver leads Oakland 21-7 now in the second quarter? Chicago and Minnesota, they played overtime in Bloomington, Minnesota. Now this set up the Vikings' first touchdown. Avellini couldn't hold on to the snap, and Fran Tarkenton set up the Minnesota offense. Chuck Foreman got the score, Cox the extra point, 7-0. Then the ensuing kickoff. Art Best, formerly of Notre Dame, formerly of Kent State, formerly of the Los Angeles Rams, couldn't hold on to this one, and the Vikings came down and recovered. Settled for a field goal. Then it was back to Chicago again. Avellini on the roll, hit Bo Rather, missed the extra point. A big one, 13-6. Now Chicago again. Avellini wants his tight end, Greg Latta. He's got him. Chicago ahead 16-13. This could have won it in the fourth quarter, but Minnesota blocked the field goal attempt. And watch Sir Francis here make like a basketball player. Under pressure, move it around, give him the hook shot, Francis. There you are, intentional grounding. But then, setting up for the field goal, the fake. And in overtime, Minnesota wins it by 6 points, 22-16. Kraus to Voigt. Jimmy the Greek, a lot of wise guys are going to say they didn't kick the field goal because of the old point spread in pro football.
Forget about it. Don't challenge the integrity of this situation. Now, I'm not a Tarkenton fan, and I haven't been for the last couple of years. But this was a good play call, plus the fact that Minnesota was a slightly bigger favorite than the Six.
All right. Irv, you've been watching the World Series carefully.
Got some baseball action going to the bottom of the fourth inning right now. Dodgers coming up the bat, and they lead 1-0.
All right, now let's take you around the league and update all of the scores. A lot of games working late in the afternoon today, and here's one. 7-6, the Dallas Cowboys are ahead of Washington in the second quarter. New England and San Diego, another close one. Patriots holding on to a 1-point lead. San Diego missed the extra point, and here it is. Jim Turner just caught a touchdown pass for the Broncos, so that long winning streak is very much in jeopardy. Meanwhile, Miami rolling at home over the New York Jets. The score is 21-3 at the half. Tampa Bay, Seattle. Seattle by 4 at the half as McKay tries to win his first. New Orleans and Los Angeles, the game you're watching, of course, tied at the half at 7. Here's a final score with no time left. Cockcroft kicked the field goal that gave the Browns a 24-23 victory over Houston. That overtime score again, 22-16, Minnesota beats Chicago. Baltimore scores a couple of quick touchdowns, holds off Kansas City. They're off to their worst start ever. They lose it 17-6. 20-17, the Giants beat San Francisco, even though the 49ers rallied in the second half. St. Louis, led by quarterback James Hart, beat Philadelphia 21-17. Green Bay and Detroit, typical defensive struggle in the NFC Central, and the Lions win it. Buffalo and Atlanta, and it is Buffalo with 3 points. O.J. Simpson surpasses 10,000 yards, only the second runner in the history of the National Football League to do it. James Brown the other. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS right after these messages from your local stations. Dallas has just scored. They lead Washington 14-6. Buffalo and Atlanta. Buffalo winless under Jim Ringo. 13 straight losses. O.J. Simpson going for the first down. That set up the field goal. It was 3-0. You watch Neil O'Donoghue. Strong Irish leg. Whip it through there. Look at those empty seats. They'll sell a few with a victory today. 3-0 now. And here's the play that pushed O.J. over the 10,000-yard mark as he closes in on Jimmy Brown. Buffalo fourth down. Remember, they lead by 3. And we'll watch Bateman. Back to punt. Here comes Pennywell. He blocks it. Surely Atlanta can get at least 3 points. But they pass up the field goal. It is now 4th and 1. This is it. The ball game on the line. Hunter keeps it. Doesn't go to one of his big backs. He stops short. Atlanta had one more chance at 1:33. Hunter's got Alfred Jenkins working the sideline. Jenkins enjoying a fine year. Now Hunter will try to hit him again. But Tony Green is back there with time running out, and Buffalo wins its first 3-0 over Atlanta. Herb, what do you got?
Brent, the Detroit Lions pick up their third win of today by defeating the Green Bay Packers out at the Pontiac Silverdome 10-6. And Green Bay has suffered its 4th loss of the year, and they started out pretty hot early in the game. There's a punt here by the Detroit Lions, and it's picked up here by Will Harrell, number 40, as he makes a reception, and he makes a real nifty return along the sideline and brings the ball 36 yards upfield down to the Detroit 31-yard line, which set up a field goal opportunity. Green Bay kicks it, and it's good. And they take a lead here temporarily, 6-3. But Landry comes back late in the ball game in the 4th quarter with a pass to Ray Jarvis is good. He hangs on, and Detroit won 10-6.
All right, wild game. St. Louis and Philadelphia. There was doubt all week. Would Jim Hart be able to quarterback the Cardinals? He was in their starting lineup. Watch now. The fake lateral there. Goes to the screen. Ike Harris. Look at the blockers. And Harris goes down the sideline like it's a tightrope, and they go ahead 7-3. Hart now to Terry Metcalf. He runs it in from 10 yards out, 14-3. Ron Jaworski showing some life in Philadelphia. But not this time. Roger Worley, 22, picks it off. His second interception. And he runs it back to the Philadelphia 35-yard line. That's why he's an all-pro. Here's Hart now. He wants Jerry Latin right sideline. Out of bounds there at the 10. And Latin busts in for the touchdown. It was 21-3 before the Eagles started back. Jaworski to the praying halfback, Herb Lusk. 21-10 after the extra point. Now, Carmichael, long, the big guy, touchdown. It was 21-17. Time ran out on the Eagles, and our time has run out of New York. So let's go back to Tim Ryan at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Tim?
We're at halftime here at the Coliseum, where the score is tied 7-7 between the Rams and the Saints. Rookie running back Wendell Tyler, a 16-yard touchdown for the Rams, and Archie Manning passing to Henry Childs, a 17-yard touchdown for New Orleans late in the first half. We're tied at 7. And now let's join Sonny Jurgensen with his guest, Saints owner John Meekum.
John, your reflection on the first half.
Well, it looked like for a while that whoever won it would be an upset. But, you know, I was very proud of the way they came back the last minute and 58 seconds and did score. It seems very strange to me that it took that long, well, 14 minutes or 13 minutes something, to finally get us geared up. But we haven't shown much the last 3 weeks. Possibly now that's the spark we needed.
Do you feel that the injuries to your receiving core has been the biggest problem for the Saints offense? In the first half, had some bad stats as far as throwing the football until the last drive. We were really having trouble completing any passes.
Sonny, it has, with Burton out and Parker out. But, you know, these things, stats are for losers, and excuses are for losers. We always come up with them like that. If you really want to go deeper into it, I think really our defensive back core is what's been hurt worse. And yet there are young kids out there. We had to bring Gilliam in to help us. I think he can. But I was surprised at Galbraith not holding on a couple of times. Tony usually has very soft, good hands.
You have to feel good so far. The season and the 5th week of the season being with the Rams expected to win the thing, and you having a chance. This is the first game you've played within your division. Being 1-3, it's still wide open. Anybody can win the thing.
Well, let's see where Atlanta got beat today, 3-0. That it is wide open. And here we are coming against the Rams this week, next week against St. Louis, outside of our division, and back against the Rams. So today and 2 weeks from now is going to kind of tell the story between these two teams as to where we could finish or even possibly grab a wild card spot.
What are the hopes?
Well, they're always very high. You have to have it in this game. Sometimes I feel lower than God knows what, but, you know, there's always another week. Sometimes I wonder if there'll always be another year, though. It's tough.
John, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Sonny.
Tim?
All right, Sonny, we've got a 7-7 game at halftime here. The New Orleans Saints with Archie Manning at the controls. Pat Hayden is a quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. We've got 30 minutes more of football to come.
When we play in the Superdome for fans like ours, you want to win big. And the New Orleans Saints are getting ready to do just that. Hello, I'm Darren Moore. And I don't have to tell you about my town. You can just hear it. New Orleans is Bourbon Street and all that jazz. It's the French Quarter and a city famous for pretty girls. And you don't know what having a good time means till you've been to Mardi Gras. But you know the people here work as hard as they play. They run the 3rd largest port in the world and have made New Orleans a major oil refining and medical center. And between the good living and the hard work, they take time to be United Way volunteers. They help the mentally ill and handicapped, work in the boys clubs, YWCA, and many other agencies funded by our United Way. New Orleans wouldn't be the same without them. For all our volunteers, we'd like to say, thanks to you, it works. For all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Now, once again, Sonny Jurgensen with a new guest, Rams General Manager Don Klosterman.
Don, the first half, what are you thinking about the first half so far? Hayden playing instead of Namath?
Well, I think we moved the ball very well, as you noted just before we came on the air. We just don't seem to be able to put people away. We get down there close, and we just don't have that knack of knocking them out. So far this year, almost every game we've played in, we've had an opportunity to go ahead 14-0, 21-0, and have to settle for field goals, or else we just don't get any points. So I think that hurts us, but... And New Orleans, of course, came back. It was a great drive, I thought, by the Saints. And Archie Manning, as you know, can beat you any time.
You know, I've seen you play 4 times. Saw you at Atlanta game. Saw you play on television. We did a game out here against San Francisco. You've been a different ball club every time I've seen you, a different personality each time. One time, the first game, you had Knox calling the plays. Then you come back and you have Joe Namath calling the plays. Then you decide that Namath isn't throwing enough, and he throws 40 times on national television on Monday night. You come back with a new quarterback today, and you've gone back to the Ram philosophy of running the football. When are you going to decide on what the Rams should be?
Well, that's up to Chuck Knox, of course, but I feel the same way. You have to get a quarterback that's in there and plays a lot, and so he's comfortable, and the rest of the team is, so that our play reflects his philosophy. Pat Hayden likes to throw the ball, as does Joe. But we are a run-oriented type of a team, and I think that our personality will change as the year goes on.
If you win today, will Pat Hayden get the start next week?
I don't know. I would assume he would after winning this game. Joe's knees were hurt. He didn't practice 2 days this week, but he said that he's standing by, willing to play any time that he's called upon. He's got a great attitude.
Would you go to Ferragamo today if something happened to Hayden?
I don't think so. I think Chuck intends to go to Joe in case something happens.
What do you foresee in the second half?
Well, I think that you'll see us throw the ball a little more. However, we have run the ball quite effectively. So I just think that we just got to make bigger plays. And our defense hasn't sacked Manning once yet. That's unusual for us not to play a little bit better pass rush than we've had thus far.
Especially a team that's had 21 sacks this year.
That's right. That's right.
Don, thank you a lot, and good luck the rest of the season and also today in the second half.
Thank you.
Vince Ferragamo, Nebraska. Well, what a college career he had.
Fourth-round pick, and he was working yesterday at practice with Hayden. Namath did not practice at all this week, so we had the feeling that they would go to Ferragamo if Hayden got hurt, but so far it's Hayden's ball game. Touchdown. They have it. Yes, it's now been signaled. The Rams go in front quickly here with suddenness. A 46-yard gainer, Hayden to Nelson.
We got some good blocking up front then to get in. This is the same play they've been running. Look at the surge there at the point of attack. Whole offensive line, Nelson, Williams, Hara, all of them. Good blocking, they get in. You see Capoletti leading the play. This is a play they have run every third and short situation. And you see the little surge. McCutcheon gets in for the score.
Lawrence McCutcheon and the extra point by Raphael Septien. And we have a 14-7 football game. The Los Angeles Rams striking quickly here early in the third quarter. The 1-yard score by Lawrence McCutcheon. And he has been impressive, the rookie from Colorado. Fumble again on first down for the Rams, and it looks like the Saints have the ball. They do. So again, the Rams turn it over. After mounting a drive, it looked like Tyler was the ball carrier on the play.
Yes, he never got control of the ball. He lost it. A lot of times backs, it's hard to put the blame on one or the other, the quarterback or the running back, but a lot of times it's what they do is take their eye off of the ball.
Bob Pollard made the recovery for the Saints, and they have it now. First down at their 29. New Orleans will be 2nd and 8. The ball at their 35-yard line as play begins in the fourth period here. And while the Rams have controlled the ball, they have not been overpowering. You got to wonder how this club is going to do the rest of the year, as Chuck Knox, their coach, says they're not as good a team as they were a year ago with people like Olsen, Jesse, Harris, Klein all gone. I'd like to hear your observations on the Rams' chances when they get an opportunity, Sonny.
I'm sure you will.
Manning deep for Herman. He's open, and Pat Thomas takes him out. Thomas was fooled completely by the shifty Herman, and he could not recover in time. It's first down at the 38-yard line of Los Angeles.
Manning kind of loses this ball. He has Herman open, and he throws a duck to him. Look at this thing. These are the kind you shoot down in practice because he goes quack, quack. It's just, that's an end over end. It's an option pass because you can catch it on either end. But he gets the ball to him, and that's what it counts. It looks like one of Kilmer's passes. But Herman ran a good pattern, and big play for him, picks up 28 yards.
Yeah, Thomas fooled completely by Herman, and that gave Herman all kinds of time to make the catch on that little wobble from Archie. Big first down play by the Saints. Remember, they're down only 14-7. This is Galbraith. Galbraith hit hard, gained 5, maybe 6 on the play before he was stopped. Brzezinski was there, but it was Elmendorf, I believe, who really got the good hit on him. And Jim Youngblood, number 53, the middle linebacker.
Good strong running in there. You know, you were talking about what's going to happen to the Rams or what's going to happen to the Saints in the next 2 weeks with these teams playing each other. The Saints play the Cardinals next week, then they have the Rams at home. Still wide open, but I think the return of Jack Reynolds is definitely going to help this defensive club of the Rams.
Manning is 4 for 6 in the second half after going 6 for 15 in the first half. Galbraith nowhere to go, got maybe a yard and a half. Manning is 10 for 21 on the ball game. Youngblood and Elmendorf on the tackle.
Here's Tony Galbraith. Even though his number's gone, he's a little ragged shirt. He has to cut outside because of the penetration of the Ram defense. And you see Larry Brooks, and I think talking with that man right there last night, he has a lot of respect for number 90.
3rd and 2 for the Saints. A big play for them here. We're in the fourth period, just underway. Muncie eludes one tackle. They've got shut off. I mean, they had him shut off. Jack Youngblood was the guy diving in there, forcing him wider than he wanted to go, and 4 other Rams appeared with no white shirts blocking them. Simpson and Thomas forced him out, and they did not get that badly needed first down.
That was a big play. They're going to go for a field goal from here. 4th down. It's going to be a pretty good kick.
Except Zarro is a good field goal kicker. Last year, he was 17 for 23.
He'll be a 47-yard attempt.
For 23.
47 yards. No wind to speak of.
Rich Zarro. Blanchard to hold.
Block. Oh, we had a little whistle there before the kick was.
Yeah, let's wait and see what happens here. That was a whistle really before the play was underway. Did they call delay against New Orleans?
Should have. Ball didn't get up. You see the ball was driven there. Sidewinders have that tendency. When they're not
delay of game.
Yes, they do.
Offense. 4th down.
Oh, what a costly mistake that is to have a delay when you're getting ready to attempt a field goal that will put you very close. A touchdown would then win it. Here he's, and Zarro can. They take him out of field goal range, and now he's going to have to. They're going to have to punt.
Yeah, they got to punt it. So
the 5-yard penalty. Maybe they feel field goal kickers before games. They line up and they tell the coach how far they feel they're accurate from, and 52 is more than he wanted to kick the ball.
Blanchard trying to angle it to get it out of bounds, but it bounces in to the end zone, and so the Rams will start with a touchback first down at the 20-yard line, and the Saints waste a chance to get on the scoreboard, and they continue to trail 14-7. What's the answer? Is there one, Sonny? How can they cure this?
They're going to have to do something about the rule itself as far as what offensive linemen can do. They let them extend their hands. They can extend their hands as long as they're not wider than their shoulders or wider than the shoulder pads. But it's a judgment call every time the quarterback goes back to throw. Every pass play you have, that's why it makes it so tough, because it is a judgment. It's not a cut and dried thing.
3rd and 17. Hayden needs it here to keep the Rams drive alive, and it's intercepted. Clarence Chapman. He's got blockers, but not right there on Capoletti, who stops him. But the Saints now in great scoring position at the 23-yard line.
We just said it. He gets forced back. He ran the ball 2nd and long. He's got 3rd and 17, and the quarterback is a man forced to make the big play. He throws into good coverage. Chris gets the hands on it very alertly. Chapman comes up with the ball. But that was because of the holding call, the illegal use of hands of Capoletti just before the play, and that's why he gets in trouble. The quarterback pays the price for it. Big break for the Saints.
Big play here, 3rd down. 5:17 remaining. The Saints trail by only 7. They have never trailed by more in this game. They pulled back to tie 7-7. He's got time. They lose one man. Flips it to Muncy. Muncy does not have the first down. Flags are down again after the play was made.
After the play is over, there's a flag going down.
Well, let's see what this one is. Did somebody come into Manning late, perhaps? That's one possibility.
And Manning comes up limping also. I think they're saying he crossed the line of scrimmage before he threw the ball.
An illegal forward pass is the call.
He crossed the line of scrimmage before he let it go. But Manning is limping a little bit. Illegal forward pass.
Illegal forward pass. Pass thrown across the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty and a loss of down. They have a 4th down.
Boy, this is an opportunity that they'll go back and think about. That juggle pass was really hurt him, because that would have given the ball down on the 10-yard line. Let's look at this again.
The pressure here was from Cody Jones. He's the guy that really created this situation for the Rams. 76.
You see the push out there. Oh.
Manning started to run, and I don't think he even had an opportunity to know whether he was at the line of scrimmage. Of course, had that little pass been backwards, then the play would have carried on. It would have been a lateral pass, but it indeed was forward, and he was already over the line. And so, again, the Saints, who were in here about the same position before, they took a penalty. Zarro was going to attempt the field goal, and they elected to punt after the penalty when they were looking at a 52-yarder. Let's see what they do here. He's on the field. This is a little bit shorter.
This would be a 45-yarder, really. He should be placing the ball down just inside the 35-yard line, which would make it right at 45 yards for the kick.
5:06 remaining in this fourth quarter, and I think that the Saints are correct here to take the field goal. You got to hope you get the ball back. After all, the Rams have not been exactly mowing them down here in the second half. Even though they have had the ball most of the game, they've got to feel that they can get it back. 5:06, that's a long time. Sonny, what do you think?
You still need a touchdown. You still need a touchdown regardless. If they make the field goal, you still need a touchdown to win.
And it's no good. So they still need a touchdown to tie. Zarro misses the field goal attempt. And the Saints come up empty once more with 5:02 to go. The Rams will take over at the line of scrimmage.
Look at this score. Denver 30, Oakland 7 in the fourth quarter. Jim Turner just kicked a 32-yard field goal. Kenny Stabler has been intercepted 7 times.
Holy smokes. That's hard to believe.
7 times in the game.
Today's game produced by Bob Stinner.
Who?
Robert D.
Robert D.
Hollywood's own. Directed by Tony Verna.
Anthony Verna.
Sporting one of the great hats we saw out here this weekend. Our Associate Director, Ray Ball. Technical Director, Jay Fairman. All of these fellas doing their usual great job. Dick Goldacre. Thanks for the extra music, Dick. Engineer in charge, Pierce Grant.
Bobby Douglas in.
Douglas almost intercepted. I mean, there was nobody near that one except Isaiah Robertson, number 58.
I know he's got better hands than that because he grabbed one of mine one day and went 58 yards with it, and I chased him all the way. That's why he's disappointed.
Did he lengthen his lead as the chase was on?
He was almost out of sight by the time he scored.
And that's it. The Los Angeles Rams, with ball control, have won this football game against the New Orleans Saints. A defensive struggle that saw the Rams go back to letting their big running backs have it most of the day. And they have defeated New Orleans 14-7 with touchdowns by Wendell Tyler and Lawrence McCutcheon, both of them coming on the ground, I might add. Tyler taking his in for 16 back in the second period, and Lawrence McCutcheon a 1-yard run in the third quarter after a long pass. Hayden to Terry Nelson, gaining 46 yards to set it up. Archie Manning passed to Henry Childs, 17 yards for the only New Orleans score that tied the game at 7 at halftime. But there was no question the dominant force today was the Los Angeles Rams. Their running game did the job, and they have won it 14-7. And so Tim Ryan for Sonny Jurgensen saying so long from the Coliseum in Los Angeles, and will now join the game Dallas and Washington.
From the Kingdom and the Great Northwest, Seattle, CBS Sports presents the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Seattle Seahawks. Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Thacker with Johnny Unitas, and the two youngest teams in pro football meet today. And what will they call this? What else? Expansion Bowl 2.
Well, the Buccaneers, of course, Jim, their great defense anchored by the Selman brothers, along with Dave Peart in the middle and Council Ruloff, have only permitted 55 points scored against them so far this year. And on the other hand, their offense, or the lack of offense, let's say, have not scored a touchdown yet. But they will have an opportunity to play against the Seattle Seahawks, whose defensive team have allowed 126 points scored against them, 1,513 yards. So we shall see what we shall see this afternoon.
Well, the exciting thing here for these two teams, John, is that one of them, at least, has a 50-50 chance of winning his first game of the 1977 season. The Seattle Seahawks in the blue, the home team, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wearing their white. As you look at them here from the end zone, Seattle won the toss of the coin and will receive, so Tampa Bay will kick off to start the ball game. That means that end of the ball game for Seattle will be Al Hunter. In the much publicized Notre Dame case, signed here as a rookie. On your left and on your right is Walter Packer, another rookie from Mississippi State. They're the double safety setup, and number 4 is Dave Green, who will be kicking off for Tampa Bay in his 5th year from Ohio University, former Bengal of Cincinnati, and we're about set to go from Seattle. Tampa Bay shooting for its first victory ever after 18 consecutive losses, and Seattle also winless for this year. Coming up is Packer at the 12. Packer the 20. 25, and tripped up as it goes over the 30-yard line. Spilled by number 53, Mike Jones. Okay, back to set up to receive the punt is Isaac Higgins. There he is, and he can literally fly. And the punt is Herman Weaver, the old thunderfoot for Seattle. Fourth and about 3, and Weaver puts it in over in. Higgins calls for a fair catch and can have it. To get the break of the game, scrambling up the 10, and it is Seattle ball. Peter Cronin, watch the play again.
Watch the replay and watch Higgins' eyes. I don't believe he follows the ball into his hands. He's looking downfield, see where someone's going to be able to help him. And here you see, he does not get a hand on a football. And the recovery is made by 57 of the Seahawks, Peter Cronin. The plays are coming in from up here in the press box. Bill Nelson will send them down on the field, and they'll be run in and out through Steve Meyer. And let's see what Bill calls from this position.
Got Largent to the left and Ferguson to the right. The wide receiver bringing Largent in motion. Now here's Meyer looking. He's going to Largent. He's there. Touchdown. A beautifully run pattern by number 80, Steve Largent.
That's a good play, and I called that Bill Nelson was calling the plays. I got the teams mixed up here, Jim. That's Jerry Rome was up here in the press box, an old quarterback out of Tulsa, now calling the plays for Steve Meyer. So it was a fine catch and a fine throw.
And Jerry Rome coached Steve Largent in college down at Tulsa, so he knows the man to go to. The try for the point by Leipold is good. So the Seattle Seahawks draw first blood in this expansion bowl, too. The Seahawks go up 7-0 over Tampa Bay in the first 5 minutes of today's game from the Kingdome in Seattle. Alan Levitt, a rookie from Georgia, in to try for a 40-yard field goal to try and get Tampa Bay on the board. Number 9, Levitt. It kicks up. It looks long enough. And it is right through there. Tampa Bay has scored on its first possession, really. And so that cuts the lead down. Seattle's still on top, but now it is 7-3, Seahawks over the Buccaneers. Here's Seattle. Steve Meyer at quarterback. Behind him, Sherman Smith and Don Teston. Meyer back on a play-action pace. A fake for the line route up the middle. He drills it intercepted. Back is Richard Wood over the 35 to 30. 25 Wood, and Tampa Bay with his first big turnover of the game. Sherman Smith makes the stop, but Richard Wood with his second interception of the season, and the Buccaneers have a golden opportunity.
And that ball was thrown directly into Sherman's hands. He didn't even have to move. You see right here, he's going to throw the football. Sherman just moved right in front of the offensive man and picked it off. That is the 6th interception thrown by Meyer so far this season.
And they're going to force Tampa Bay to try for a field goal, which will be about a 37-yarder. A 40-yarder has already been made by Levitt. So Alan Levitt, number 9, is in. Holding is Dave Green, his fellow kicker. It'll be a 37-yard attempt. Right there. Tampa Bay with its second field goal of the quarter. That cuts the lead down to 1 point now. Seattle on top by a score of 7-6.
Levitt, there was the 14th kicker that the Buccaneers have used. And talking with the coach yesterday, they feel that Levitt has solved that field goal kicking problem that they've had.
There's John McKay, wearing his colors, and Gary Huff talking upstairs.
Charlie Hanna is one of the better defensive players of the Buccaneers, and he comes from a real good football family too. His father played professional football. He's got an older brother who's playing up at New England. He's got another younger brother down in Alabama. So Coach Bear Bryant has had all the Hannas down in Alabama and has done an excellent job with them.
That's right. Davis now playing for the Crimson Tide this year. 3rd down and goal for Seattle. Tampa Bay defense has stiffened. And motion is Smith. There's a play action. Here's Meyer firing. Ends a Larson. Great catch for touchdown. Oh, what a catch by Steve Largent. His 2nd catch today for a score for Seattle. The Seahawks going through the air.
It's a fine catch, a fine fake rider by Steve. And watch Largent as he comes from behind, catches the ball right in between 2 defensive men of the Buccaneers. It was a 4-yard throw for a touchdown.
And the Seahawks have struck again. Seattle goes up 13-6, and in is Leipold to try for the point after. John Leipold. He's got it. Seattle goes ahead 14-6. A passing of Steve Meyer and Steve Largent is sparking the Seahawks in this Expansion Bowl 2. Seattle will not hesitate to go down in the barrel of tricks. And with Zorn in there, they were really explosive, but I got to say that Meyer has been very impressive today.
Meyer's doing an excellent job. They see a shot with A.D. Anthony Davis on the sideline, not feeling too well at this point, but Steve Meyer has been doing an excellent job, I think, calling the plays. Of course, they're coming down from Jerry Rome, but executing them and getting his people up and doing an excellent job. The offensive line has really been taking it to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers have not been getting off the ball as well as they usually do.
They just pulled a tight end and put in an extra wide receiver in Sam McCullum. That Myers is going to go to the air. He's got an extra wide receiver, and he's going downfield, and it is intercepted at the 5-yard line by Tampa Bay's Jarvis White. White over the 20, 30, and White pounded out of bounds by number 73, Norm Evans. But an interception by Tampa Bay, and for the 14th time this year, Seattle passers have been intercepted.
There's the throw by Meyer. As you see, he's overthrown, tipped up, and Jarvis White picks up the interception and brings it back. Meyer at that point was 7-11 for 69 yards, a 25-yard return.
That's Davis. Davis looking for the end zone. Davis cuts. He's got a touchdown for Tampa Bay. Anthony Davis right over the corner to score, and a beautiful drive against the clock.
That was the first touchdown for Tampa Bay this whole season, so I know they're happy about that. They've broken the jinx. They got the touchdown, the first one for Tampa Bay so far. And it was a fine drive by Gary Huff, and it was a fine run there by Anthony Davis to get in. Here it is. Take a look at him, getting a second effort, getting across that goal line by A.D.
He beat Autry Beeman, who had replaced Don Dufek, the injured strong safety. As the first touchdown score with the offense, John. Remember the one that was by Wood on the return on the defense, but that's the first one by the offensive unit. Now this could cut the lead down to 1 point. And there's the boot up by Levitt, and he's got it for Tampa Bay, and the Buccaneers are pulled back within 1 with 47 seconds to go in the first half. It's now a 14-13 ball game. And having worked both these bowl games, John, I'll tell you that Expansion Bowl 2 is a much more exciting game.
It's a much more exciting game than I thought it would be. I tell you, they're doing an excellent job. Both teams maintaining control of the football on the ground, throwing when they have to. And I think that was a fine drive that the Buccaneers had that time. For one principal reason, they scored a touchdown, the first offensive touchdown this season. And secondly, it has given the defense some time to sit on a bench in the regroup.
That's going to be about a 46-yard or 45-yard try, maybe 44 for Leipold, and that's certainly within his range. He's hit him from 48 in regular season and 55 in preseason. Paul Krause has thrown a touchdown pass. I got to hear more about that.
That's right there. I don't know whether it's true or not.
43-yard attempt by John Leipold for Seattle. Oh, it's plenty long enough. Seattle beats the clock also, and an exciting first half yesterday at the Kingdome. The kick is good. And the Seahawks lead the field now with a 4-point lead and a little more breathing room. 17-13. Seattle over Tampa Bay, and the offensive fireworks we've seen today.
Jim, it was a fine first half for both teams showing some offense, and especially for Tampa Bay, an offense that they haven't had all season long. And I know that Coach McKay's happy about that, and the people back in Tampa are happy about that. And so I think we're going to be looking for a real fine second half coming out with a little bit more offense on both teams' part.
And a 4-point lead by the Seahawks.
And now we have a field goal try.
Field goal by Alan Levitt, who's already kicked 2 today. That's the most he's kicked in any game thus far for the Buccaneers. He'll try for his third to get the margin back to 1 point. A try of 20 yards, and it's through there. So Levitt hits for his third field goal of the contest. And we're again at a 1-point margin here in Expansion Bowl 2. Seattle 17 and Tampa Bay 16. Higgins wide right. And here's Huff on third down, back to zone 3 again. Going down the sidelines is intercepted by Tampa Bay. Grabbed by Autry Beeman. Tampa Bay pass, intercepted by Seattle. Correction, Autry Beeman on the grab, number 27.
Good protection for Huff again. Just a bad judgment on Huff's part. He threw the ball out there, and the closest man to it was the defensive man, Beeman, as you see right there. Overthrow. Fine reception by Beeman.
Sets up a passing situation perhaps for Steve Meyer, who was sensational in the first half. 11 for 17, 98 yards. Now he's third and goal from the 4-yard line. He's got everybody in tight, including Largent. Here comes Testament out in motion. Here's Myers back on the play-action fake. Now he's looking over the left side to Largent. He can't get it there. Overthrown to Steve Largent, who may have looked over the wrong shoulder.
Well, that was a tricky play coming up. Largent was really open quicker than Meyer was ready to throw. The defensive safety was late getting over to cover Largent, who went behind the line of scrimmage, standing there, but Meyer overthrew him. And now we have a field goal try.
Yep, John Leipold, who's been in there before today. 17-16 the score. Leipold will try this one from about 21 yards. Looks like the kickers are going to finally decide this one before it's at the end. Leipold's shot is through there, or is it? No, it is outside. Leipold misses from right in front, and Seattle has missed a golden opportunity to score. Tampa Bay will get it at the 20, trailing by a point. Next Sunday, CBS Sports presents regional NFL action with Dallas taking on Philadelphia. Green Bay going against Tampa Bay. The New York Giants tangling with Washington, a rematch. Atlanta clashing with Chicago. New Orleans against St. Louis, and Detroit at San Francisco. Consult your local listings for the game and times in your area. That's NFL regional action next Sunday. And right here, Tampa Bay got a break when John Leipold missed from 20 yards. That's extra point range, and so now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have it, still trailing by just a point. Tail back, and here comes Anthony Davis looking for some room that is not there. Autry Beeman moves up to help out on the play, and it stops for a short gain.
Here's the second quarter score. Dallas 14, Washington 13.
Gary Huff backs up now, looking the situation over, facing a 2nd down and 8. Did I hear 14-13 Dallas?
14-13 Dallas. Hagen's in now. He's got a speedster in there. Maybe we ought to look for a good deep pass because he can really fly.
Ike Hagen. He's on the left. And they pitch it instead, and coming here is Williams. Ed Williams around the corner trying for the first down, and he's got it, I believe, just over the 30. Steve Priest bumps out of bounds. Ed Williams, one of the leading rushers last year, along with Lewis Carter, in the Buccaneer backfield before Ricky Bell and Anthony Davis arrived on the scene.
Hagen's that time was a very fine stand-up block on Dave Brown, the defensive corner, which really helped to make that play go. He's not only a good receiver, he's an excellent blocker as well.
John McKay comes back in on the left side, replacing Higgins. And to the right, Morris Owens. It's first down for Tampa Bay, and Huff is back on first down. Here's what you wanted, Johnny. Going on the deep one downfield, and is intercepted. Steve Priest on a sensational interception. Tampa Bay lost it again, but that was some defensive catch.
A great defensive catch by the defensive man. Let's watch the throw by Huff. The ball was thrown way back to the inside. His man was way outside. Looked like the ball slipped out of his hand. As we see, a fine interception. Excellent catch, and of course, coming back to get him before he got back up on the ground. First and 10, Seattle.
Denver now is in position here to hand Oakland its first loss of the year and first loss in 19 games. And boy, the Denver team is for real, when you say, John.
They sure are. They have playing very, very good defensive football out there. Red Miller's team is doing very well.
Second down play. Fake inside. Now is a great blitz on by Selman. Selman is through, and he has sacked Meyer on a big defensive play. One of the big plays of this game. There haven't been that many, but there was one of them.
And that's the first sack this afternoon for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As you see, Selman just broke through. Meyer has not a thing to do but just eat the football. Best thing he can do, take the loss, try to come back and pick up some yardage after that. A fine play by Selman for the first sack for the Buccaneers, and Jack Patera is not very happy.
What's going on here, he says. He got the football down in good position, and now he has been pushed all the way back to the 45 his team has, and it's suddenly third down, and it's 17 or 18 yards to go. Long play, Meyer buying time. Meyer going deep downfield in the end zone. There's a man, touchdown. It's Ferguson. Duke Ferguson. A sensational pass from Steve Meyer. All he had to do was catch it, which he did. And the Seahawks now have gotten some insurance with 10 minutes and 40 seconds to go. 45-yard pass play. Live pole for the point after. It's good. Lots of time left to go. 10 minutes and 42 seconds. You watch this pass play again, John.
Let's take a look at it. Steve just rolls to the outside. This is a play where just the defensive backs just lost concentration for a minute. Seeing Steve run, decided to maybe just come up.
A Cardinal sin, Johnny, on that play.
It was. That play deserves another look as we see Steve rolling to his right, Steve Meyer. And there's a lack of concentration on the defensive man to let his man get behind him. You always take care of your own first and let someone else worry about the men up front. A fine throw, I might add, from Steve Meyer to Ferguson.
All right, we're back live now, and here's John Leipold in the kickoff for Seattle. It is 24-16. This is the most points given up by Tampa Bay. He booms it in the end zone. 1 yard deep. Here comes Ike Higgins. Ike Higgins, ooh, is he ever cut down on a crunching tackle by Peter Cronin, who's been the standout team of the specialty teams this year for Seattle. 238 pounds, a rookie from Boston College. And like he's led the special teams all year, he really chilled Ike Higgins. There's the scoring drive, 37 yards. In 1 minute and 12 seconds, actually after the long sack, that scoring play covered more than that.
That was the most. This is the most points that were scored this year on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
First and 10 for the Buccaneers on the 22. Now trailing by 8. Sideline pattern. Grabbed by McKay, and he goes out of bounds around the 33. Maybe a first down. Autry Beeman making the chase from free safety. John McKay. John McKay, who played in the World Football League for the California Sun, then went into coaching, and his daddy wanted him on the expansion draft and talked him out of his job at Oregon State. The score here you saw is 24-16.
How do you say no to daddy?
Very, very, very gingerly. First down play for Gary Huff. He's going on the deep post pattern, and it's the speedster. He's got it. And it is Morris Owens Owens may score. He is. A sensational play of 67 yards to Owens, the most explosive play of the game thus far, and Gary Huff on first down wasted no time.
Well, that's a first down throwing. Let's take a look at Gary. That's worth a second look, too. There's the throw. Excellent protection, and nothing fancy about the pattern, just going down and bending to the inside. And then it was just a matter of a foot race from there on. A 67-yard pitch and catch from Gary Huff to Owens for a touchdown.
Well, these teams are determined they're going to score a victory, both of them, and we're back in another nip and tuck battle. The point is good here by Levitt. It'll be a one-point game again. He's got it. So again, it's 1 point separating the two with 10 minutes and 17 seconds to go. One more look at this pass, a deep post, John.
Well, let's look at the protection he had. Plenty of time and an excellent throw. As you see, was nothing real fancy about the pattern. Just going down, running to his inside. Owens on a fine reception and a 67-yard run.
Jack Patera isn't happy about that at all. 24-23, Seattle's lead is 1 point. It's second down, about 20 yards to go. Fake draw. Myers looking. Fires it back across to Sherman Smith at the 40. Breaks 2 tackles. Breaks a third one to 35 to 30. Sherman Smith is going to score. What a play. Watch it again.
Rolling out back to his left and finds the man right open. And watch the poor tackling on a part of Tampa right there. Some good ball carrying by Smith, but I would say it was more of some poor tackling on the part of the Buccaneers.
And Sherman Smith for a 44-yard play, and this game suddenly has exploded into a game of big plays.
And so far, Smith has rushed to set a record on his next attempt. For 17 rushes, he got 93 yards.
A kick by Lippo hits the upright, is not good. And it remains 30 to 23, and that could be a very important point. It's now a 7-point ball game. A loss of 3 back to the 13-yard line. It is second down and goal to go for Tampa Bay. Got a man open. Let's see. He fires in the end zone and is intercepted. He threw too late. Interception by Beeman.
Let's watch Huff now as he rolls back to the outside. He had a man wide open and was just a poorly thrown ball by him. All he had to do was loft it up in the air. A fine play by Beeman, who got back in there to try to intercept the football. And it's now a big change on the ball hand to go over to Seattle.
As the Stars, one of the Seagulls dances in the background. Seattle 30, Tampa Bay 23, and the Seahawks just fought off a bid by the Buccaneers to pull even. And the man of the hour is Steve Meyer for Seattle, who has already outdone his debut, which against Denver saw him hit 20 out of 29 for a new club record of 69%. Well, today he's over 72% on 21 out of 29 and 4 touchdowns and still going. 1 minute, 12 seconds to go. Seattle with a 7-point lead, and the Seahawks have the ball. And look at this one. Denver 30, Oakland 7. We understand Snake Stabler's been intercepted 7 times today.
That will not make him stop throwing, though.
Well, to the middle of that. And he'll complete his share. Benjamin and Sims, the backs here behind Steve Meyer. Trying to rout the clock. They give it to Benjamin again. He cracks through. He may have the first down, which is the one thing Tampa Bay cannot afford. Council Rudolph, the left end, and Charles Hanna team for the stop. Well, that run carried, I believe, to a first down. It's up very close to the 24-yard line. 1 minute and 4 seconds to go. They're going to measure the seed. Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, remember, 4 exciting events. As heavyweights Leon Spinks faces Scott Lideau, light heavyweight Michael Spinks, his brother, meets Gary Summerhays And heavyweight Bernardo Machado faces Greg Johnson, followed by the world's strongest men competitions next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. on the CBS Sports Spectacular. It was a first down for Seattle, and Tampa Bay now with just 2 times left to stop the clock. We're inside the minute, and it would appear that the interception by Eddie McMillan has saved the day for the Seattle Seahawks. Like Tampa, bidding for the first victory of the year. But it's been an exciting affair. Just dropping on the ball is Steve Meyer now. Tampa Bay in a hopeless situation. 36 seconds to go. The Buccaneers stop the clock here. They can do it just one more time, and Seattle will have 2 more plays. Conceivably could run out the clock. Dewey Spellman comes over to hear a word from John McKay. It's a homecoming for John McKay, too, of sorts, because he played out here at Oregon after freshman year at Purdue. Then, of course, coached a little further south at a school by the name of USC.
I believe I've heard of it.
So has everybody else.
I think he's finding it just a little bit difficult to win in the in his NFC.
Now Dallas has picked up an insurance touchdown to lead Washington 27-16 in the 4th period at Texas Stadium. This would keep the Cowboys undefeated along with Baltimore, and they're dwindling down, aren't they? Oakland losing today. I guess Denver, Dallas, Baltimore.
Right.
Jack Patera now probably telling the official, look for my guy to call timeout immediately, get the clock stopped. A little chance here that Seattle is going to fumble the ball because they've gone into a defensive type game. You'll notice the backs, they keep huddled very close to the quarterback. They're in there to protect him once the ball is snapped. You'll see Meyer. He'll get right back among those 3 backs and drop on the ball. Right there. And again. Nope, they have not stopped the clock. They're letting it run with 26 seconds to go. Well, there are the men who've been putting the show together for you here today. We're coming down to the end. We're going to be switching, I guess, to the Washington-Dallas game, which is in the final stages, with the Cowboys winning that one. So we'll get to see the Dallas Cowboys wrapping up their 5th straight victory. And here, the Seattle Seahawks are winning their first of the year. That's it. A final score. Seattle Seahawks 30 and the Buccaneers of Tampa Bay 23. A close but exciting game.
Very exciting football game. We didn't think it was going to be like this when we first started out, but both teams playing very, very well offensively. And I know Tampa was a little bit disappointed that they did not play better defensively.
And there it is. It went right down to the final minutes before it was decided. A 7-point victory for the Seattle Seahawks over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, 4 exciting events. Heavyweights Leon Spinks faces Scott Ledoux. Light heavyweight Michael Spinks meets Gary Summerhays, and heavyweight Bernardo Machado faces Greg Johnson, followed by the world's strongest men competition next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Now we take you to the Washington at Dallas game with Pat Summerall and Tom Brookshire.
Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, with Dallas in the background for today's match between the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys. The Redskins, of course, led by the familiar face on the left side of your picture. That is George Allen and Tom Landry, the well-dressed one, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, the only one they've ever had. Texas Stadium with the hole in the roof, the artificial turf, the sellout crowd, and we say good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall. This is Tom Brookshire, and you almost don't have to say anything, but it's the Cowboys against the Redskins.
Wild. It is the Cowboys averaging 4 touchdowns per game. That's their average, and the Redskins allowing only 1 touchdown per game on defense. Something's got to give.
What is the status as far as health is concerned? Drew Pearson, I know, is going to play with a brace on his left wrist.
Well, the rest of the Cowboys are in pretty good shape. Fitzgerald has a bum leg. The offensive center will be replaced by Rafferty. On the other side, Chris Hamburger will not play or call the defensive signals, and I think that could be the main factor for the Redskins. They are pretty much together outfit on defense.
What about the Cowboys situation as far as running backs are concerned? We have heard about Preston Pearson. We've also heard about Tony Dorsett.
The world's most celebrated substitute is Tony Dorsett, but I think the very fact that he comes in off the bench is an advantage for the Dallas offense.
Averaging over 8 yards a carry. And now, the national anthem. Trumpet of Tommy Lloyd and the national anthem. You couldn't order up a better day. 67 degrees the temperature, clear skies, about a 4-mile-an-hour wind out of the southwest. Humidity 22%.
Perfect. The Redskins, here we're looking at the Dallas Cowboys and Tom Landry. They're a very cool coach, but the Redskins were booed when they got off the bus at the stadium, and they seem to like that. There's something about playing on the other guy's turf that if you're really nasty and grizzled the way these old devils are, they seem to like it, and they played pretty well here a year ago in that big upset, Patrick.
Dallas has the football at their own 14-yard line, 1st and 10. Roger Staubach, of course, still the quarterback.
And they've been a very careful team on offense. They haven't given it up. They've only had, Rodgers only had 1 interception. They don't fumble a lot. Dorsett does occasionally.
Right now, Dorsett's not in there, and Pearson will go in motion. Drew, that is. Straight ahead, Newhouse. Misdirection. Newhouse bounces off of 1. The ball is loose. Redskins have it.
Looked like Talbot made the first contact and bumped Newhouse outside. There you can see George Allen pointing the right way, obviously, in this occasion. But I'll tell you, if the ball shows up against the Redskins, it's on. Now watch this. Newhouse straight ahead. Talbot falls into the hole, 72. Now let's see the scramble on the outside. Curtis is recovering. I believe that's Kenny Houston coming up. Gosh, how many fumbles has he made happen like that? And now it's a scramble. Brundage and company, Dennis Johnson. I don't know who got it. Maybe 4 guys.
I think it was Harold McClinton who made the recovery. In any case, it's 1st and 10 Washington, just outside the 10-yard line of Dallas. And Kilmer asks for quiet. And he gets it.
He's not going to win the MVP in Dallas for that one. I saw him trying to warm up, Pat, and it was like an old car you haven't started in the garage for about 3 or 4 years. It just huffed and puffed and could barely walk.
But it gets you there.
Doesn't it?
Billy Kilmer with his back to you has a great many friends here in the Dallas area. Final score, Buffalo 3, Atlanta nothing.
Is that in a blizzard or something? I didn't get the weather conditions on that.
They were expecting snow in Buffalo before the game. Head coach Jim Ringo had received a vote of confidence, which usually means you're about to be released.
Did O.J. Simpson give him a vote of confidence? That's all we want to know.
Detroit beat Green Bay 10-6.
It's always been a bitter ball game. Looks like it was again today, huh?
Bart Starr having a tough time getting on the scoreboard. All right, here's Kilmer out of the huddle again and again. The crowd starts to boo. It's 1st and 10 just outside the 10. They can make a first down without scoring. Thomas to about the 7.5, perhaps. Larry Cole, number 63, the veteran from Hawaii, made the tackle on Thomas. Tom Landry, obviously unhappy about this turn of events, on the sideline talking to his quarterback.
I'll tell you, the first touchdown in a Redskin Cowboy game is very, very important. Of course, Washington hasn't got it yet, have they?
Final score, the Cardinals defeated the Eagles 21-17. Thomas goes in motion, and Kilmer's going to throw. And does. Fugit couldn't quite hang on. Game Fugit covered by Charlie Waters. And Fugit now saying it was interfered with.
Well, Fugit had 2 chances to catch it. Waters hit him early, and Kyle hit him the second time. Man in motion now. There was only a single back. That may have been a new wrinkle for the Redskins. I can't remember seeing Thomas in motion. Here's Billy getting fair time. Ball's thrown high. Remember, Fugit's 6'4". Waters, and now Kyle comes over and makes sure he's out of the inline. Looks like an incomplete pass to me.
Never could quite find the handle, so it's 3rd down now.
Big defensive series. Big defensive series.
Just outside the 7. 3rd down for Kilmer and the Redskins. No scores yet. Kilmer drops. Blitz. Kilmer fires wide open. It's Thomas, and he drops it. A flag was thrown back at the line of scrimmage.
Too Tall Jones claims he was held, but Mike Thomas just flat took the ball and then let it go on through. The ball was right on target.
Ball is right in there, no question about that. Dick Jorgensen is the referee, and we'll listen to his call. Holding against the Redskins. It would be 4th down if they refuse this penalty. Let's see what they decide to do.
What do you allow? What are you thinking if you're Dallas? Do you want to settle and allow the Redskins to get 3 points? They'll kick the field goal, or do you want to push them back and try to let them have nothing?
As wide open as Thomas was, and as good a chance as Fugit had to score a touchdown, I'd let them have the 3, I think.
Okay, let's see what their decision is. Here's going to be that call.
Holding, right guard, offense, decline, 4th down.
Terry Hermling. And the Cowboys think like Summerall. Watch to the right of your screen now, and you may be able to see it. Hermling is having some problems, and it was Too Tall Jones. Ball was thrown well and just dropped.
Aaron Kyle, number 25, was the closest man to Thomas, but he was wide open, and as Tom Brookshire said, the pass from Kilmer was right there. So here is Mark Mosley with Joe Theismann holding.
He's 4 for 8 for the season.
A 29-yard attempt here. And it's good. Redskins on the scoreboard first. They lead 3-0. And we have exactly 11 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Washington 3, Dallas nothing. Who was close, but Fugit still had room to catch it. That's Rayfield Wright, the big tall guy standing behind Mel Renfro.
Tell you, if Kilmer gets the rushing game going, though, and then starts with that nibbling play pass action, he is some kind of a tough quarterback.
It's 3rd down. Still 10 to go. Still at the 23. Harmon and Thomas behind Kilmer. And again, they send a bunch of people. Kilmer fires. Almost picked off by Randy Hughes. He did well to get rid of it. Jethro Pugh and Harvey Martin put the heat on Kilmer, but he stayed on his feet long enough to get rid of it.
All right, here's the rush now. Again, this Dallas front 4, they're all stunning and blitzing. They know it's a drop-back pass. Kilmer's caught, almost undressed. Billy throws it sidearm. He may have an injury, too, now.
I think he just has some injured shoulder pads.
Thomas made a pretty good play, or Randy Hughes might have taken that thing down the sideline.
That's right. So, right at the 30, Joe Theismann will hold for Mark Mosley. Make it a 40-yard shot by Mosley. Plenty far. And plenty good. 6-0 Washington. Mosley seems to have almost no problem with distance, even as far out as 50 yards. He can get it there.
Well, that's his 6th in 10 shots. And if you'll take that percentage all year long, especially that first one from about 25, Tom Landry knows how important the first couple of field goals are. Now, what are they working on? We don't know if that's an equipment man or somebody that's medically endowed.
You know, Kilmer's had some shoulder problems before. I don't know if
he wears funny-looking little shoulder pads anyway. Of course, he has funny-looking little shoulders under there.
And he wears no hip pads.
We laugh a lot about him, but I tell you, end over end, no matter how he throws it, they catch it all the time.
Top of the 2nd inning in the World Series. The Dodgers won, the Yankees nothing. Right here is Efrain Herrera with Charlie Waters holding at the 34. Into the pack. Herrera comes up with it. Mike Curtis comes down with him.
Ball was kicked low, Patrick.
Yes, it was.
And I believe it hit Darren Talbot right in the shoulder blades.
Herrera with his first rushing attempt. Ball comes right back to him.
And actually, he has nothing to do with this ball at all now. It's Redskins ball no matter what, but he took a gamble on it, and we're told that he is that kind of an athlete. In this case, an unsuccessful one.
So Dallas has the football just in their own territory by about a half yard. 6-0. Redskins lead. Dorsett, one of the running backs. Newhouse is the other. And there's the quarterback. Firing on first down. Golden Richards is wide open. Touchdown, Dallas.
There he is. The little man from Hawaii, huh? Golden almost didn't come back and play football this year. There was some problem. But I'll tell you one thing. He's got the speed. Let's see what he does on it. We got the isolate out and up. Williams, the young quarterback, took it. And now the question is, does Roger hit him right in stride, which he did, and they're on the board. Big play. Big mistake by Washington, too.
It's 6 apiece. Friend Herrera has a chance to put Dallas ahead for the first time. And does. A 51-yard touchdown pass from Roger Staubach to Golden Richards, and it's the Cowboys 7, the Redskins 6. Here's the touchdown again. Dallas longest of the year.
All right, let's see how the blocking sets up, because Roger had a lot of time. The sidelines and up pattern. Williams took the outside move, the young cornerback in for Pat Fisher, and this is Golden Richards' second touchdown catch and the longest pass play of the year so far for the undefeated Cowboys.
750 pounds of sand. Dorsett on the option for Pearson, and he's got it. He stepped out of bounds at the 31. Out of bounds at the 31, at the 36. Dorsett on the option pass. Threw to Drew Pearson, and he stepped out of bounds at the 36, make it.
Watch the replay, Patrick. Dorsett does not fake it too well, but he really don't have to. Fact is that it went back to him, and he threw a perfect spiral. And Drew Pearson did go down and stepped out right there. He's got the foot on the line. He's trying to walk down the line.
His right foot got out of bounds. Another look at that last play.
It's a hard throw to make, too. He threw a pretty good javelin shot. Man, what he does to an offense is incredible. I think I might hit Dorsett during calisthenics when he's doing the side straddle hop. That might be the time to get him.
How about when he comes out of the tunnel? Second down. Again, Pearson goes in motion. Straight ahead is Newhouse. Touchdown, Newhouse. Good-looking drive there by the Cowboys.
They fooled that defensive tackle, and I wonder if Tony Dorsett might be the reason. I wonder if you get preoccupied with where he lines up in the formation.
7-yard touchdown run by Robert Newhouse. Check it.
All right, take a look now. Darren Talbot gets caught inside, and I don't even believe they logged him from the outside. I believe they just ran a sort of a negative at him.
They cut off Dennis Johnson. Newhouse walked in. Friend Herrera. It is 14-6 now. Dallas with 3 minutes, 11 seconds left before the half. Here's another angle of the touchdown. Well, something's
looks like a strobe light.
that could be part of Logan's run.
Newhouse's second touchdown of the year. For somebody that they've been trying to find a replacement for years, little fellow does quite a job, doesn't he?
This is his best start ever. Something to cheer about now as the Cowboys have taken the lead over the Redskins 14-6. Redskins have 2 field goals by Mosley. The Cowboys have touchdowns from Golden Richards to the pass from Staubach and a 7-yard run by Robert Newhouse. Danny White will have to punt from near his goal line. Eddie Brown standing in Dallas territory at about the 46. Washington used one of their timeouts a minute ago.
Well, they may come with everybody. George Allen may be in this next rush.
He might even send Laverne Torgerson. 47 seconds left. You can see here they come. Got it. Redskins block it. Dennis Johnson can't pick it up. Redskins did get the football. It goes out of bounds.
Oh, boy.
Two Redskins chasing it. Dallas Hickman. And Dennis Johnson. The ball finally goes out of bounds at about the 1-yard line, I believe, where it'll be 1st and goal Redskins.
We're not trying to make
about
Allen,
the 1-foot line.
We're not trying to make Allen the coach of the decade or anything else, but I'll tell you, they can make a game very close even when limited. Look at this. And they tried to block it. He was on the sidelines talking to the 2 people he sent in. Here's the scramble now.
I believe it was Joe Harris that blocked it. There's Dyron Talbot looking on with George Allen. 37 seconds left before the half. 1st and goal Redskins. Dallas leads 14-6. Theismann is going to throw and does to Clarence Harmon, and he has the touchdown. The rookie from Mississippi State takes the touchdown pass from Joe Theismann.
I'll tell you, Theismann has really got it together. That's a tough call for him to make. A lot of people are watching him today all over the country, and to throw that TD pass from the 1-foot line. Look at George. He knows they're back in the football game, and they did it with moxie.
That might tie the NFL record for the shortest touchdown pass. That was 1 foot, I believe, from Eddie LeBaron to Dick Bielski,
Dick
right?
Bielski. No, that was about 8 inches. I think they've remeasured that.
It's on the scoreboard, and so is that extra point by Mark Mosley. It's 14-13. Dallas leads.
A gutsy call by number 7. Not having a great day filling the air against this tough defense, but he made a good call here. You can see that the young man that gets his first touchdown is all by himself.
The Redskins block a punt and get right back in it. 33 seconds left before the half. As you look at the Redskin bench, Pat Donovan and Ralph Neely. Ball is now at the 47-yard line of Washington. Dallas has one more timeout, as well as those 10 seconds left before the half. Score is Dallas 14, Washington 13.
First down, 15.
Defense has got to play that 10 or 15-yard pass pretty tight.
They're in the shotgun. Again, the long count. Dyron Talbot. The sack on Staubach. He got away from Rafferty and Cooper.
That's the 18th sack by the Redskins, and Talbot, does he love to get Roger Staubach? He's had a verbal, if not physical, feud with Roger for about the last 5 years, head-to-head.
And now, in all likelihood, they will let it run out. And that's what they do. End of the first half. The Redskins broke on top, and Dallas got 2 touchdowns. The Redskins came back after a block punt to make it 14-13.
How about the amazing Denver Broncos? They lead Oakland 21-7 at the half. The Broncos have intercepted 4. Chicago and Minnesota battle overtime this afternoon. Here's Avellini rallying the Bears, going to Greg Latta. 16-13, Chicago ahead. Now, Chicago had a field goal. They could have won it in the 4th quarter, but it was blocked by Blair and Allen. Now, watch Sir Francis with time running out. Give him credit for one thing. He doesn't quit, folks. Here is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Intentional grounding. We go to overtime. Now, fake field goal. Minnesota goes for the touchdown, and they win it 22-16. And Jimmy the Greek, There's going to be some wise guys who are going to say they did it because of the number.
Forget about it, Brent. To begin with, there was a great play call. It was the first down. If the pass is incomplete, they still can go for the field goal. Bud Grant, don't challenge his integrity. I mean, he's a good man, honest man, and plus the fact that Minnesota was favored by more than 6.
All right, Irv, what about that World Series going on? Yankees trying to wrap it up.
Sorry to be listening to the baseball game right now, but the Dodgers are ahead in the top of the 5th by a score of 5-0. Dave Yeager hit a 3-run homer in the 4th inning.
Coming back to the Bronx. Steve Yeager did it for him, didn't he? Now let's get you up to date on all of the football scores around the National League. And we had some wild games this afternoon. Here's Dallas, the game you're watching, leading Washington 14-13. Always a classic, isn't it? New England and San Diego, 7-6 in the 3rd quarter, figured to be close. And here's the surprise of the day. Denver has had outstanding field position, 4 interceptions. They've jumped all over Oakland, took the opening kickoff, marched in for a touchdown. Miami went back home, and they've jumped the New York Jets, 21-3 in the 3rd. Tampa Bay and Seattle, McKay trying to win his first. In the 3rd quarter, Seattle leads them by a point. The Los Angeles Rams just scored again, so now they lead New Orleans 14-7 in the 3rd quarter. And a final score, 24-23. Cockroft kicks a field goal as time runs out, and the Browns now jump to first place. And Chicago losing to Minnesota 22-16 in overtime. Baltimore wins. That sets up that showdown next week with New England. The Colts still unbeaten, 17-6 over Kansas City. The New York Giants beat San Francisco 2017. Although the 49ers rallied in the 2nd half. St. Louis behind Jim Hart beats Philadelphia 21-17. Likewise, the Eagles came back. Detroit downs Green Bay 10-6. Tough defensive battle in the NFC Central. And here it is. Buffalo shuts out Atlanta 3-0. The final score in that game. And the National Football League on CBS will continue right after these messages from your local stations. Only one man in the history of the National Football League had ever gained more than 10,000 yards rushing until this afternoon. His name was Jimmy Brown, and the man pursuing him, number 32, the Juice, and here he comes. Better than 10,000 yards as he closes in on Brown's fantastic total of better than 12,000. Now that set up a field goal. So here was Buffalo back to kick, and Atlanta stormed in him. The 4th quarter. Falcons needed just a field goal to try. Stopped 3 straight times. 4th and 1. Atlanta went for the first down. Scott Hunter is the quarterback. Keeps it himself on the roll. Great defensive play by Buffalo. They hold and take over. One more time, Atlanta comes down the field. And here it is. Hunter on the roll. Had Alfred Jenkins working the sideline. Hit him neatly inside the 40. Trying to get just a little bit closer now for Mickemeyer. But it was Tony Green who squelched the Atlanta Falcons. And they lose to Buffalo as Jim Ringo wins his first ever as a head coach, 3-0. Irv?
The Baltimore Colts remain undefeated today, Brent, as they defeated the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City by a score of 17-6. The Chiefs, of course, are looking for their very first win, but here in the 1st quarter, the ball on the 1-yard line, number 34, Ron Lee goes in for Baltimore and opens up a 7-0 lead. The Colts kicking off here. The ball, unfortunately, Kansas City's had all kinds of problems all year long with mistakes, and here ball carriers hit and they fumble, and the ball is recovered by the Baltimore Colts, which sets up another scoring opportunity in the 1st quarter. Number 23, Don McCauley, was scored. This is the 7th touchdown of the year, by the way, the most touchdowns by any running back in the league in 1977. Kansas City has the ball, 1st and 10 on the Baltimore 34-yard line, and Tony Reed, who's had an outstanding year. Number 32 makes a real nifty run here, setting up a scoring opportunity for the Chiefs. And John Brockington, he used to wear the Green Bay Packers jerseys and colors, is now playing for the Chiefs and goes in for a score, but too little too late, and he lost 17-6.
You know, Irv, Baltimore remains unbeaten because of that, and for the Kansas City Chiefs, that is the poorest start in the history of that franchise. Tampa Bay trying to win its first. Seattle with the ball right now. Meyer, the quarterback, he goes to Largent for the touchdown. Boy, Largent's a fine receiver for him. Here is Smith now, again for the Seahawks. Number 47 crashes down to the 7-yard line. And again, that combination. Myers to Largent for a touchdown. It was 14-6. Seattle ahead. The Buccaneers rallied. Quarterback Gary Huff pulls out, and watch in slow motion. His time there as he rolls right, goes to Morris Owens, and Owens has got it, and he's out of bounds at the 2. But then Anthony Davis went in. 17-16 right now. Tampa Bay trails in that football game. Irv?
Brent, the Dallas Cowboys and Washington Redskins, if you've all seen, are really doing battle today at Texas Stadium. And Dallas leads the game at halftime 14-13, and there's just been a rash of injury to Redskin ball players. Joe Theismann in here for Billy Kilmer, who's out with a bruised shoulder, connects here with, puts the ball in the air and is picked off by number 41, Charlie Waters. Roger Staubach takes immediate advantage of that as he goes up deep in the air and hits number 83, Golden Richards. He goes in, and Dallas leads 7-6. Dallas is 2nd and 4 on the Dallas 30-yard line. Staubach ladders the ball to Dorsett, and he does something he hasn't done yet this year. Throws a pass. Number 88, Drew Pearson, latches on to it. Staubach hands off this time to number 44, Robert Newhouse, who runs the ball in, and Dallas takes a 14-6 lead. A lot of turnovers in this game, including blocked punts, and this one is blocked by number 29, Mac Murphy of the Redskins, and they recover the ball. Number 82 here, Dallas Hickman for Washington. And the very next play, 1st and goal on the 6-inch line. Joe Theismann sets up and throws to number 38, Clarence Harmon. He's in the end zone, and the score is knotted at halftime, 14-13.
Irv, the Jets on the board, kick an extra point, 21-10 right now in the 3rd quarter. Seattle just missed a 21-yard field goal. New Orleans and Los Angeles. Pat Hayden takes the handoff from Wendell Tyler. Tyler around the left side, 17 yards for the touchdown, 7-0 Rams. Archie Manning back after a year's layoff. Wants Henry Childs this time, 17 yards, touchdown, tied at 7. Here's Hayden, who replaced Joe Namath. More mobile, they say. Wanted to pass, does, right over the middle. Now watch his tight end, Terry Nelson. What has become of Charlie Young after this? How about that for a second effort by the Rams tight end? 46-yard gain on the play. McCutcheon plows in for the touchdown. Rams lead at 14-7 in the 3rd quarter. And don't forget tomorrow night on Monday night, Terry Bradshaw will try to play with that cast on his left wrist. A lot more football coming your way as the NFL Today continues on CBS in just a moment.
Now let's check out what happened in the first half statistically, Tom.
I've never seen stats that are more indicative of what not should be happening. A 1-point football game, and you can see the Cowboys have all of the yardage. Roger is, see if I can find that, 10 for 18 for 138 yards. 33 offensive plays for Dallas, only 21 on the left there to Washington. Look at that, 75 yards passing for the Redskins, 227 for Dallas, including Dorsett's first running pass. And yet the block punt and the fumble, and the Redskins are not only very much in this game, but they may have left the field with more impetus than the Cowboys.
And the Redskins, as almost always seems to happen, the last team to come back from the dressing room after the half. There's Tom Landry, the only head coach the Cowboys have ever had.
First thing he did was start getting good people 17 years ago.
And he's got a lot of them now. 12 rookies 3 years ago, 10 last year, and 9 this year.
And some of those, like Tony Hill and all, are going to be not only good football players, but perhaps incredible ones. I'll tell you, though, if anything, Landry gets along with his players and has a better relationship with them than he did early in the career. I think he's grown right along with them.
I'm sure that's correct. There comes Bill Kilmer and Joe Theismann. Tell you what else you have to give a lot of credit to, not just to Landry, but to the rest of the Cowboy organization. Tex Schramm, Gil Brandt and group.
Kilmer looks like he might be trying to get the uniform together like he's going to play, but that left arm, that's the one that was hurt up in that shoulder. Let's see what he's going to do, where he's going to sit. Darn, he's going to warm it up. In the bullpen, Billy Kilmer. You know, he caught a touchdown pass one time out in San Francisco. He's run for 22.
He caught a touchdown pass, I guess, when they were running the shotgun, or was he running at halfback?
He probably threw it and then caught it. He can throw some that are rather strange.
Speaking of organizations, that Redskin one is something else, too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Really is. They pick up people and say, you know something, you were a great athlete once, now lose 10 pounds and let's see if you can play like you did. Maybe better than you did before.
Stop and think about the difference in the way these teams were built. Just almost complete contrast.
And now it's third and a little bit long, and now Billy Kilmer has to come up with a good play. And by the way, Kilmer calls his own plays. Yes, Joe Walton and sometimes George Allen mention things, but they've been mentioned during the week. He's his own man out there.
Right now he faces a tough 6 defensive back setup for Dallas and drops straight back. Nothing doing. Randy White is all over him. He got into the backfield quicker than Kilmer did.
Let's see if Billy hurt the left shoulder again if he gets up. All he's asking was, who was it? Who was that masked man? Watch the center of your screen for 54. Runs through Nugent's block and just crushes the quarterback. Dang, he's strong.
And quick. Back to the 36. There's John Riggins with the pipe in his mouth and on crutches.
And bad knee.
There he is. Ligament damage. Mosley from 54 yards. It's good. Mark Mosley puts the Redskins back ahead, 16-14, with a long field goal. Charlie Waters deals at the 34. Herrera with a 44-yard field goal attempt. That's a good leg. He's got Dallas ahead again. Our friend Herrera from 44 yards out puts the Cowboys back in the lead, 17-16.
Look at McDowell's undressed now.
They're going to bring in Herrera. And the thing you have to consider here, other than the fact that it might be blocked, is that if he misses, it'll be a 52-yard effort. They bring it back to this line of scrimmage, not to the 20.
And if it's blocked, it could be worse.
Blocked is disaster. Charlie Waters holding. 52-yard attempt by a friend Herrera. He's going to get it there, I believe. He does. Our friend Herrera from 52 yards away makes it Dallas 20, Washington 16.
It's a good-looking youngster, huh?
Wasn't he? New England leading San Diego now 17-13. That's fourth quarter score. Lenny Hawes comes up over the ball. Dallas ahead 20-16. 3 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Kilmer fakes. Kilmer has the ball almost knocked loose. And now he does. Larry Cole is the guy who got him down. Somebody else hit him early. Did you see who that was?
I think Henderson might have come on the blitz and caught him. The crazy thing was that Kilmer managed not to throw it or fumble it. Here it is now, a little semi-roll left. There's the first pressure. That's Henderson, I believe.
D.D. Lewis.
And D.D. Lewis. And now Cole comes. And Kilmer is just glad to maintain possession. Keep his left shoulder intact, too.
Loss of 11. 2nd and 21.
Oh, Whistling Ray is looking for trouble up there in the stands.
Doing a job on that Redskin pennant. Straight ahead, Harmon. Bill Gregory. Number 77 made the tackle.
Kilmer is 3 for 12 for 28 yards and came in as a 50% passer.
Fourth quarter score is Los Angeles 14, New Orleans 7. So it'll be 2nd and 15 now. 1 minute to go, third period. Pitch is back to Dorsett. Lost the football. Redskins have it.
But remember, he's one step away, darn near every time he touches the football, of doing something incredible. He gets cut off. The Redskins overplayed the side where they ran to. And now watch him cut back. And the last man not only gets the ball, but keeps him from breaking.
Ken Houston is the guy who made the recovery.
It's about his third fumble of the year, Dorsett's third fumble.
13:43 left on the scoreboard to play. Kilmer, the quarterback. Henderson fakes a blitz. Draw play to Thomas. Henderson made a tackle. Ball is loose. The Cowboys are saying we got it. That doesn't count.
I don't think.
The referee says they got it. Henderson got the ball. He made the tackle and recovered the fumble.
A big turnover, too. Look at this. Henderson's taking the ball home. That's going to go on the mantle.
You're not getting that one back. So Dallas takes over at their own 45. They still lead 20-16. So it's third down now and 14 yards to go. 12:52 left to play. Dallas 20. Washington 16. Third and 14.
Guess who's in the game for the Cowboys? Number 33.
33. And 26 stays. Two good receivers. Staubach is deep. Here come the Redskins. Drew Pearson. Got it. He beat Gerard Williams. Staubach read the blitz and just threw it up in the air.
Gerard Williams did not play the ball at all, and Staubach made a great impromptu move against the total blitz. Let's look at it from the end zone, Patrick. Here it is from the shotgun. And I mean, Redskins sent everybody. A quick throw, and he did a hang job with it. And the young defensive back never got a chance to play the ball at all. And Pearson is really nifty. He's from another century, maybe the 24th.
59-yard touchdown pass. Staubach to Pearson. Herrera with the extra point. It is now 27-16. The Cowboys, after they read the blitz perfectly, at least Staubach did, and put the pass on the money to Pearson. Let's watch that touchdown pass again. This is a thing of beauty.
Remember, if you catch the people in a blitz and you anticipate it, and you go with this, and this is just hanging it up for one of the great receivers in football. Boy, I'll tell you, the defensive back, once he gets his head turned, he can't play the ball, and it's over. Look at this move. Of course, he married Marcus Haynes' daughter. He ought to be able to handle the ball a little bit.
I wanted to see if it bounced back to him. That's Roger Staubach. Had a good day. It is now Denver 30, Oakland 7. Greg Morton has found a home.
When you lose, you might as well lose big, I guess.
They start the clock again. We have 11 minutes and 15 seconds left to play. Harvey Martin standing up the line of scrimmage, leaning over toward the Washington huddle. He was trying to hear the play that was called. It's third down now. 15. Kilmer drops. Harvey Martin got him. No, he doesn't. Randy White got him. Bill Gregory got a piece of him. Kilmer ducked under Martin. Randy White arrived along with Gregory.
Gregory and Martin missed him, and then here comes Randy White along like a steamroller. I'll tell you, Billy's hurting now. They really roughed him up on that series.
Those of you who watched Seattle defeat Tampa Bay 30-23, welcome to Texas Stadium. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire. It's the Dallas Cowboys 27, the Redskins 16.
There's some angry people over there right now. The last guy in up with the ball may get hit.
Admire that Redskin defensive unit. Admire the whole Redskin team, as a matter of fact. They have hung tough. Newhouse got in. His second of the day. And a heck of a run it was. Robert Newhouse.
205 pounds on a 5'9.5" chassis. Look at this. He really gets stuck here and just gets the big legs working. That's quite an effort.
Jake Scott hit him at about the 2, and Newhouse just kept on burrowing. And so a friend Herrera, with Charlie Waters holding, tries to make it 34-16, the Cowboys, and he does. And now they will start to depart as you look at that clear blue Texas sky out through the hole of the roof. It is 34-16, Dallas over Washington. 20 seconds left to play. It's Dallas 34, the Redskins 16. Look out. Harvey Martin and Randy White meet at the quarterback. Theismann. Tom Landry, a very happy person right now.
7 sacks for 42 yards lost and a lot of physical abuse to quarterbacks. Billy's already wrapped up. Kilmer on the sidelines. Look at this. Harvey taking the outside. Drew a dead beat on a very tired young quarterback.
Less than 10 seconds now. This will be off. Harvey again coming around the outside, and Harvey again, and Randy, and Larry, and the clock runs out. Harvey Martin sticks his hand into the air. Dallas 34, the Redskins 16. 60 minutes will follow this football game. You'll see it in its entirety except on the West Coast, where it'll be seen at its regular time. Don't forget the CBS Sports Spectacular. Leon Spinks against Scott Ledoux. Michael Spinks against Gary Summerhays. Bernardo Mercado against Greg Johnson in the World's Strongest Men competition. That's on the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Final score here, Dallas 34, Washington 16. This is Pat Summerall saying so long from Texas Stadium, Fort Town, Brookshire. The NFL Today is a presentation of CBS Sports.
I think they're disappointed in what happened in the second half. First half was fine. We played good defense. We had a pass rush. We took the ball away from them. Second half, we had a good drive going at the top of the third quarter and then ended up fumbling the football and then didn't generate any offense to speak of after that. And defensively, we just didn't make any plays, rushing the passer in the second half or intercepting or, knocking balls down. The ball was up there, and it seemed like they were coming down with all of them. And we got to play better defense and put two halves together. We haven't done well in the second half in our last three ball games.
Coach Shula and most of the other staff, I think all the other staff, must have thought something was there, or else they wouldn't have kept me around. I've always felt that whenever I'm in the ball game, I want to do the job, and I've always had a strong feeling that if I'm at the fullback position, I don't want to let the fullback position, down. I want to be productive. I want to be contributory to the offense. We've got kind of a fullback offense if you think about it. And if we're not carrying the ball, then we're leading a lot of the plays, and it's an important position. I was pleased. I felt like I held the position up, with Norm and Leroy, bumped up a little bit, and that's really what my role is, to help any way I can.
Well, Tony, what you have to do is to try to understand what's happening. Why can't you continue to function in the second half the way that you did in the first? And we know in Baltimore we hurt ourselves by a couple of fumbles and an interception in the second half and gave them good field position, and our defense wasn't able to hold people out when we had the opportunity. And for this second week in a row, defensively, we made a couple of big plays, but still we didn't do a good job of pass defense, the kind that you're going to have to do if you get to where you want to go. And each and every week we got to get better, because down the line we're going to be playing some people that are going to cash in on all the opportunities.
The big concern around the Dolphins training camp this week, besides Seattle, is the fact that Don Shula's offense has not been able to generate any consistency in the second half for the past 3 weeks. In the first of a two-part interview, Dolphins center Jim Langer and I tried to find the answer to this most puzzling question.
I'm beginning to think it's just a matter of maybe it's coincidence for 3 weeks in a row. I think it's just a situation where it's a funny thing to explain, but for 3 weeks in a row we've had this situation where we get a big lead, And surprisingly, it seems that the lead is coming fairly easy. Everything seems to be working so smooth, it's unbelievable. And then we're making a mistake that gives the other team a chance to feel they can win it. And of course, as the game goes on and a team gets to the idea that they can win the ball game, their momentum builds in a hurry, and we just haven't been able to stop that and capitalize ourselves. And I don't think it's something we should push the big red button on. I think it'll just keep playing ball, keep working, and I think it'll take care of itself.
Tonight, Langer will give his solution to the problem. Tony Segretto, Channel 4 Sports.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't like it. You know, it's all of us ball players are hams. We kind of like to, especially offensive backs. You know, you like to see your name in the paper in a positive note, and you like to feel like that everybody around the community thinks that you contributed to the football team. Especially as long as the coaches know it, that's really the bottom line. But you'd like your neighbor to walk out and say, "Hey, you played a pretty good game," instead of them coming out and saying, my one neighbor on the one side is an old football coach. He knows what he's talking about, so I can't really argue with him either. So if I have a bad game, I usually hear about it.
Dolphins center Jim Langer feels Miami's offensive woes in the second half the past 3 weeks is merely coincidence. Still, he thinks there is a solution.
I think the biggest thing we can do is really let it eat on us. I think we just have to go out each week and try not to think about what happened the week before and play the game as it unfolds. If we just go out and forget about it and try not to make a big deal out of it and just relax and play ball, everything will happen the way it should. But we're playing good ball, and it's just unfortunate that with a record of 4-1, there's still negative things being brought up, but that's the way it is in Miami. I know Green Bay would give their left arm to be 4-1, right, and I don't think you'd hear many complaints about it.
Does it bother you?
Yeah, I understand that's sports. And that's the press, and that's the people. I mean, they pay their money to see the games, and that's the way it is. But it does, I know the situations in other stadiums and other towns where people are dying to get a winner, and this is a winning ball club. It's a winning attitude. The guys are working hard. They're great coaches, and it's a great team. And still, unless it's 52-0, 17-0, we're not a success.
The second half will no doubt be on everyone's mind this Sunday in the Orange Bowl. So with that in mind, look for a complete Miami victory. In other words, 2 halves of consistent football. Tony Segretto, Channel 4 Sports.
The Baltimore Colts dominated the first quarter, running 26 plays to the Chiefs' 4, and outgaining Kansas City 151 yards to -6 and scoring 14 points on 2 one-yard plunges by Ron Lee and Don McCauley. The Chiefs scored a touchdown in the second quarter, but the Colt defense shut them out the rest of the way in holding on to a 17-6 victory. A trick play lifted the Vikings to a 22-16 win over the Bears in overtime. Safety Paul Krause passed 11 yards to Stu Voigt for a touchdown on a fake field goal, and that kept Minnesota atop the NFC Central Division. The Dallas Cowboys opened a 2-game bulge in the NFC East with a 34-16 win over the Redskins. This 59-yard touchdown pass from Roger Staubach to Drew Pearson broke open a close game early in the fourth quarter and lifted the Cowboys to their victory. And the Buffalo Bills needed only this 30-yard Neil O'Donohue field goal in the second quarter to beat Atlanta 3-0 for their first win of the year. O.J. Simpson rushed for 138 yards to become only the second man in history to surpass the 10,000-yard mark.
overtime win against New England earlier this year. Cockcroft hits it pure, and the Cleveland Browns have a 24-23 win and a share of the lead in the AFC Central Division. And there are the standings. Cincinnati meets Pittsburgh tonight. They, too, can share that lead. But they have a problem, Pittsburgh. Let's go back 1 week earlier. The Steelers' Terry Bradshaw in the Astrodome on a rollout. He rolls left. He'll be hit by Greg Bingham. He'll attempt to break his fall with his left arm. Terry continued playing for several minutes, but x-rays later revealed a fractured wrist. Nevertheless, Terry insisted he'll play in tonight's game against Cincinnati. I talked to him about it.
Terry, I think anyone who saw last week's game, you fractured your wrist against Houston, and you're going to be playing tonight. I think anyone maybe not really close to this game has to wonder why you're playing tonight. Why?
Well, there's really two reasons. First reason I think all athletes have is it's a great desire to play, and God's blessed me with a great desire to play, and it's a type of injury that really won't prohibit me from playing, and I feel like I can play. Secondly, and probably even more important, is the fact that Cleveland and Houston are 3-2, and we're playing Cincinnati tonight, so it's important for us to win this game, and I feel like I'm the guy that needs to be in there.
Stand by, 15 seconds to air. Stand by, all cameras and videotape.
Ready with your opening graphics. Stand by, Howard. Here we come, Frank. Ready, Don.
Stand by audio, your opening music, and roll tape.
Take tape. Pennsylvania. It's the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And ABC's NFL Monday Night Football is brought to you by Lincoln Mercury. See the new 1978 Mercury Zephyr, 2- and 4-door sedans and 4-door wagons. See them now at your Lincoln Mercury dealers. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, and Howard Cosell will not be with us this evening. He's in New York for Game 6 of the World Series, the Dodgers and the Yankees, and you'll see it here on ABC. Should there be a 7th game necessary, that'll take place on Wednesday. You'll also see that. However, the Cowboys with me, Dandy Don Meredith. Tom, we've got quite a game. Whoever wins tonight, Cincinnati or Pittsburgh, moves into a tie for the lead in the Central Division of the AFC with Cleveland and Houston. But Cincinnati can't win here.
They have a tough time, Frank. A year ago today, October, I was here, as a matter of fact, did the ball game. Cincinnati lost for their 7th time in a row. They've had a really tough time here, but all teams have. 19 out of the last 20 times that they've been hosts, the Pittsburgh Steelers have won, so they built them a house they can live with, wouldn't you think?
Well, Cleveland's never won here either, Don, and Pittsburgh has won 19 of 20 Central Division games, so they kind of own it here. Let me ask you, did you ever have a field where you didn't like to play?
Green Bay. Only played there one time, but I didn't want to go back. That was a tough one.
I was there.
Yes.
Don't blame me for that.
That's right. That was a tough.
Of course, Cincinnati has all the tools. Kenny Anderson, their quarterback, was an NFL passing champion in 1974 and 75. Isaac Curtis out on the flank. He can fly.
Well, Archie Griffin's hurt tonight. We don't know how badly. You've got Boobie Clark that's coming back. He was off an injury, too. So I think we have a few questions to be answered on that Pittsburgh offense. They need to score. They led they actually were scoring out 30 points in the preseason, Frank, but they haven't been doing that since the regular season got underway. They need some points tonight.
And they say this field has no jinx for the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll find out. By the way, we have something we'd like to tell you about. We learned just a short time ago, NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle, along with the president of ABC News and Sports, Wayne Arledge, announced tonight that beginning next year, 1978, for the next 4 years, all NFL primetime games, regular season games, to be televised will be televised exclusively by ABC, and we're just delighted with that. We're also delighted about our football game coming up, and we'll be back with the kickoff right after this. And it's 2nd down and 7. 13-yard line of the Cincinnati Bengals. Play action. Anderson. The man open, and it's picked off by Jack Ham. Oh, man. Jack Ham picks off an attempted pass to Billy Brooks, and that is Jack Ham's 20th career
interception it was, Frank, because he actually had him open. The ball was not even that badly thrown. Trying to get Brooks deep on a little zig-out route. You don't even see him. All of a sudden, with his great speed and range, what a catch. Brooks didn't even know he intercepted it, I don't think.
That pass, Don, as you said, was not badly thrown. It was just a great effort on the part of number 59, Jack Ham, and you see why he's all-pro.
That was Linville Elliott that came over and made the stop.
Okay, third down. Smith got one, third down and 7. Blyer and Harris both back in. Bradshaw. Right down around the goal line. And it's Stallworth again.
Stallworth, I give so much credit for this because he got very jammed up in the middle. Again, he got great protection. Look how long he gets to throw right before he gets to hit. Stallworth had to come back around, fell down.
And if we look one more time, that is the end of the quarter.
You see good pressure in there by Gary Burley. He hits Bradshaw just as he throws him. But he just did a little turnaround back in there, Frank. He kind of got jammed up. He almost got the opinion that...
The Pittsburgh Steelers have a first and goal to go at Cincinnati's 1-yard line. Market just outside the 1. Great catch of a Terry Bradshaw pass by John Stallworth, who is really coming into his own this year. Sidney Thornton, 38. Rocky Blyer, 20, the setbacks. Blyer, touchdown, Pittsburgh. Rocky Blyer gets the Pittsburgh Steelers on the scoreboard first. First play of the second quarter. Let's look at it again. They fake to Thornton up the middle, and they just goes up their right side behind Mullins and Brown, Don.
You bet. They really did open it up.
There it is again. Good block.
You bet. They really knocked him out on that one. That Ray Phillips was 59. You saw him meet that big guard out there. Didn't have a shot.
Rocky Blyer just put the Steelers on the scoreboard. Troy Torella hits for the conversion. The Steelers move out in front of Cincinnati 7-0. Play of this drive, 2nd and 10. Anderson. That would produce John Reed. Half snap.
Good protection. He's got it. And oh God, and it's getting Cunningham. He breaks another tackle. And another one. And another one. Oh, man. Hey, Thornton and Big Sidney's home. Woo! And they did block it. You knew there was something going on. I think they got two. He tapped it into the end zone. It's going to be 6. The onside kick. There it is. It has to go 10. It's a free ball. And Cincinnati has it. Billy Brooks copy the screen.